Good morning, traders. We are on the brink of all-time highs, but right now, we just got GDP and some numbers coming in. Things are shaking up out there. We need to see what's going on with this dip. Will it just be another dip that gets bought here? Definitely trying to shake some of the bulls out there. We'll talk a little bit about it. We got initial jobless claims coming in at 236,000 versus 244,000 estimate. That's actually a good thing, right? Jobless claims coming down. But we look at GDP at a negative 0.5 versus a 0.2 estimate. That's the one that's causing this little glimpse of a move down. We'll see if it's able to hold out there. We'll be taking a look at different action to see what happens here. Trade balance also came in a little bit higher than the expectation, but it's a negative number, so it's not looking good there. A little bit of a dip here. I think this could still get bought back, but we'll see what happens. Will they knock it down here right before the open and shake some of the traders? Let's take a look at the price action here on the SPY and see what happens here, guys. SPY is trying to go ahead and reject that move. We'll see if we get that move here. As you guys can see, the SPY is just dipped down there to the 608.25s. Will it start to recover here? Definitely. We'll just put a line here. How's that? Make it simple, right? Above this, we're still looking fine. Below that wick, we could start to leak a little bit further. Let's see what happens. Does the SPY just come back? Do we get all-time highs today? Find out, traders, right here on, of course, Trade the Pool. All right, guys, and I'm in a trade right now that I'm trying to manage and focus on. I'm actually short CYN, guys. Yes, I know that's a little bit crazy of a position to be short on right now. So I'm going to bring it up really quickly so that you guys can see the position and look at the position as I'm trying to nail this one. Let's see what happens with this one. I'm up a little bit. I've been up multiple times, but this could spike right back here. So I got to be careful here, guys. That's why I'm trying to focus in on the trade at the same time, trying to bring you guys the news there. Let's see what happens. This could still spike above 12. If it spikes back above 12, guys, I'm just going to get out. It looks like it's trying to do it right now. Can't get too pretty here. Got to be able to stay in this and then look for the bigger short maybe later on in the day. This name mentioned NVIDIA, and that's why it's up. I can't blame people for buying this earlier. I would have bought it if I saw it earlier, but I started to see a little bit of a topping tail, but I think this could go right back through that 12.15. So we got to be careful here. What I'm really looking for is, could we pull back to 11 and 10 before we get to 12 again here? That's what I'm looking to see if it can hold here. We'll find out if it starts to cut down a little bit further. I've been up about 100, 200 bucks on this name. I'm looking for a little bit further down towards 11. If I could get that move to 11, we got $400 in the green here to start off. Let's see what happens here on CYN. There's that first action down to the 1150s. That could sweep towards the 1120s really quickly. So I'm going to put 200 out at 1120s here. See if we can get that at 1120s, and then we'll try to get the rest of it out towards the 11 here. There's a dip, and look at the move right back up, guys. This is a spike right back up. Got to be careful here. Look at the spreading out here. So I'm going to be a little bit careful here. Got to get out. Got to get out when you know that it starts to get back above that 12. That 12 is the squeeze spot there. And it seems like every time we get down there, we got there just to 1150s. I was up pretty big there at 1150s. I'm up about 180 there. It just seems like it wants to get back above 12. Got to be careful here that it gets above 12 and it gets above 12 fast. All right, traders, we'll see what's going on out there. What do you guys think about this CYN with an NVIDIA deal kind of mentioned there? It was just that they use NVIDIA. It doesn't necessarily mean that NVIDIA is kind of supporting them here, but definitely good PR mentioned this morning. Got this stock spiking. It's all the way up there to 1183. Started the day down at $5. So we're up more than 100%. Let's see what happens here. Will it spike above the 12 here for me, or break down through that 1150 going back towards 11? That's what I'm really looking for. But hey, we'll see if we can get it. I'm definitely risking still a little bit here in the pre-market. Don't like to be too big in the pre-market, and definitely feeling the pressure right now. That's why I'm focused. That's why you guys see me like trying to stay with the stock right now. If I turn my eyes, this can easily spike. Next thing you know, we're through 12 and higher. Really trying not to get run over right now in the pre-market. Short is not probably the best way to be looking at the market right now. So I'm just looking to see if it keeps rejecting this area. Not getting back above this 12 is the big important spot there. There's another hit towards the 1170s, but still within reach to just come sweeping back. I needed to take out this bottom lines. We need to see this takeout, right? So a horizontal line takeout, right? So right down here, can we break through that 1145, flush down towards 11, and then I don't mind if it comes back But let's see if we can get that first flush and then cash into that move. All right, it's about $82 up there. It just seems like I'm not getting it here, guys. I'm going to focus in. I'm going to go to the playbook. If you guys see me kind of a little bit distracted, at least you guys know why, right? I always keep it 100 with you guys and show you guys all positions, win or lose, right? And in this case, a bigger position that I'm trying to focus on and trying to stay on. We'll see what happens there, guys. You guys can see the position at the bottom. Let's go. Let's go. All right, guys, let's take a look at what we're looking at this morning. We'll go to the playbook. We'll go to different action out there. What can we get towards? Let's find out, guys, as we start to get this dip. Well, I'll be looking to hopefully take some profits here through the 1150s. Let's see what happens there. You can see how it keeps recovering the 9 now. Now it's starting to concern me a little bit more how the 9 is dropping, but we're not getting the flush. We should get at least a quick flush, and then we'll look for a recovery back at prior support, prior resistance in this area, right? This is what I'm essentially looking for. A move into this area and then a recovery. We'll wait and find out. So I'll show you guys the box here on the top part of things. I have 2 windows, right? So I'm looking for a move that comes and bring us back into this area, right? Back to the support, back to the VWAP. That could be a really nice move to play towards the open. And I know traders are looking for a pullback to play on this thing. Let's find out if we even get it. Another touch of 1150s and it doesn't break it, man. This is where I start to get concerned, because if we keep hitting it, at one point we can touch the resistance. And that's when I got to be careful here. All right, so here it is. It's already starting to bounce back. I'm waiting for the flush down. Get it, get it. Come on. Come on. Come on. All right, guys, let's take a look at the playbook action. I got a lot to talk about today, so I'm going to get off of this. I know that, hey, you guys aren't here for just one play. Let's go to some different breakouts that are in the market right now. We'll talk all about AMD and others, so let's get to it in this morning's playbook action. All right, AMD continuing to rise there, guys, and we'll see what happens with this name, right? Can it continue to just break out? I think it definitely can, and then that's going to be the concerning part, and we'll see what happens. I'm getting another spike there in that CYN here, guys. I'm going to probably just have to cut out and reassess there. It just keeps going towards that 12 there. You guys can see it. I'm only up a little bit there now. Price going back to the 90s, but it's just playing around there. We'll see what happens. AMD is dropping. Let's go to the SPY really quickly. SPY continuing to climb back here, and that's what's helping out. Q's also, but AMD now pulling back a little bit. Remember, this has been in a complete breakout mode since 116, and I've been looking at this stock since back here, guys, and now it's just really been taking off. It's up about 28% from where I was watching it, and I think it could keep going. It is breaking out above the Bollinger Band, and it has done this in the past, and a lot of times it pulls back. So today is an important day for AMD to see if we can break above the Bollinger Band and actually continue the momentum versus just completely collapse. That's what I'll be looking for. We'll see what happens in AMD. Can it continue just to push? We'll have to wait and find out. We're definitely near the all-time highs, so we got to be careful here, but doesn't mean we can't make some money here. Let's find out, guys, what happens with AMD. All right, let's go to another one. I made this trade on Tuesday. It was one of the best trades of the week. SMR off the 9 EMA. Why not look for it again, right? So a lot of times stocks have the tendency of doing what? They have a tendency of doing what? 2 to 3 times a run towards resistance and then finally the move. So I think right now we're seeing that, right? We're seeing it's touched a couple of times now. Now we're looking for the actual breakout. So we've had that up 1, down 1, up 2, down 2, up 3, down 3. Shouldn't break this line here at the bottom, right? So now I can make this line thick, and as long as it can hold 38, that's my risk spot. Looking for it to go back to 45. So it's about $1 risk for a move back to 45, which is what? Oh, and there it is. This is what I was worried about, guys. Getting the squeeze right now. Trying to get out there and CYN. Look at that. Guys, this is why I didn't want to lose my focus there. I just lost 220 there. Oh, man, that was the problem, guys. That's the problem. I have to be focused there. It squeezed there right when I would turn my eyes and I was trying to draw on SMR. Just got squeezed out there, man. Took a loss there. Got out at 12.48. Should have got out at like 12.10. But definitely 30 cents of slippage. Not what I wanted. Just lost about like 200 there when I was up about 200. Not what I wanted for sure. But hey, I'll just let it go, man. That is what it is. I have to stay focused on those types of trades. I would have to just take over the show and then not show you guys different plays and stuff like that. So just gonna let it go, keep going. That's just a part of being a host, and I'll cue it to that. That's my hosting fee. Because definitely should have got out there at 12:10. I'd look to get back in, but since I got out and I lost, I can't get back in. Look how it's coming really quickly back down. So I would have got out at 12:10 and gotten right back in here. But we'll see what happens, man. That's just a little upsetting that got out of that one and wasn't able to get some of the gain there. That's going to be one that's going to frustrate me towards the open here. But hey, let's keep going. Let's go to the sunrise report, not let it affect us too much. There was still another one, CRM, I can take a look at. But we'll see what happens there. CRM trying to get back above the 270s. This is a bullish call. This is kind of more of a long-term swing call for it to get back into the 300 zone. I think this still looks really good. Just needs to get over yesterday's high, 275, breakout above. We'll see what happens there in Salesforce. And look at CYN all the way back down and dropping fast there now. This is going to frustrate me, guys. I need to stay on top of these. These are the trades where it's like, I just need to focus on it myself. And that's just the part of being live, right? But hey, is what it is. I'll leave that alone now. I don't want to just keep going after it and then just hijacking the stream on one play. All right, we'll see what happens out there. Let's go to the sunrise report so I can talk a little bit about some other action. Hopefully, once I get Michael on, I can focus in a little bit more on more of my plays. Let's get to the action in the sunrise report. All right, traders, the S&P 500 remains within 1% of its record high, having surged 22% since April's low during the peak of the tariff anxieties, right? We'll see what happens with the SPY. Can it get back up there? We're right now starting to climb right back up here as we got a first opening wick. Now we'll see what happens with that. Can we just continue to climb? Hey, only one way to find out, traders. Got to stick around to see what happens there. All right, we'll take a look at what else is moving in the markets. And of course, the Middle East tensions are easing as Trump confirmed that a ceasefire between Iran and Israel is holding, though he expressed frustrations at both sides. U.S. and Iran meeting reportedly scheduled for next week, supporting a more risk-on tone for the markets. But what's ahead, of course, weekly jobless claims came in and they were a little bit light. So this was a good thing for the labor market and could give us a little bit more of a push. Now, GDP, though, came in a little bit lighter than expected. So that's the problem there. It kind of was a good news and bad news on the news front. And that's why we got the dip. And now it looks like it's getting bought back. We'll see what happens there. Let's go to Micron, as Micron definitely had their earnings reports, and it wasn't the best, right? It was still a decent report, but let's talk a little bit about it here. Shares were up 4%. The EPS was at 191 versus 160. Revenues at 9.3 versus an 8.87. Guidance was at 10.7 versus a 9.9. The revenue jumped 37% year over year. Data set sales more than doubling. Demand for high bandwidth memory fueled by AI growth is the key driver. They said that they were investing with discipline to meet the soaring AI-driven demand. So things aren't looking too bad there underneath the hood at Micron, but it didn't hold the spike. So we'll have to see, can it hold the spike towards the open? We'll see what happens there, of course, and we'll see what happens in some other action out there. I know Walgreens had some earnings. I can take a look to see if that's finally out. I didn't catch that earlier. Let me see if I got it. No, not yet. Not yet. We'll see what happens on that. And we'll see if we can get some other ones to kind of keep moving today. Let me see. Walgreens. I think it did get the earnings there. Let me grab them. All right, there. Yeah, the earnings were at 38 cents versus a 34-cent estimate. So WBA getting a little bit of a move up on this. We'll see if it can continue to move higher. It's not a bad one to look for maybe a trade today. Why? Because it's just stuck sideways. And so if it's stuck sideways, they could start to move it. And you can see here how this has kind of just been in a symmetrical triangle and kind of just trapped here. Well, break out of the trap in one direction, right? Give me a big bar. Give me a bar towards 1150 going towards 12. Not a bad look there. All right, CYN taking off now towards the 1278 here, guys. So, hey, There it is. Now push right back towards the 13s. We'll look to see if CYN continues to break the highs and going towards the next level. All right, we'll continue going towards different news in the market. We got still more to talk about. Let's get out of this conversation. Let's take a look how the Qs are performing there. Qs are still pulling back a little bit with the market. SPY kind of pulling back now. Really not a takeoff with the numbers, but I think this is just normal. It's just trying to shake you a little bit. We'll have to wait and find out what other names are making a move today. ASTI, another one, Ascent Solar Technologies, down to $3, but we'll look to see if it gets back up there towards the 5. All right, guys, what's going on? Good morning to you guys out there, and all you guys tuning in. Smash the like. We'll see what we can get into, what we can find. I see a lot of you guys tuning in on X, on Twitter. Let me know what's on your radar today. We'll take a look to see what we can come up with. All right, guys, CYN now almost to 13, trying to continue on through. We'll see if it just keeps pushing and keeps breaking the highs. PX, another one that's moving out there. That's not much there. Beam, also Beam Therapeutics, so maybe a little bit of some solar play running into some play today. As you see, Run kind of get the lift there. Yeah, that tells me more and more. It might just be a solar type of day in technology, telling you that momentum is coming in. FSLR a little pop this morning, just tells me more and more. Yeah, exactly that. Solar was a little bit of a hot morning. Nothing that I really like in solar. I know Trump hates solar, so I've been trying to stay the hell away. All right, SRFM, not a bad one to keep an eye out. Surf Air Mobility was moving yesterday. I just don't believe in this stock because I have never heard of it, but maybe I just don't know it, man. But daily chart, it's giving you a really good throwback look right on this trend line. I think it could hold. As long as it can hold kind of like this 230 area, it could get back to 3 and get back to 4 today. So you have your potential trade there. I definitely see it. All right, we'll see what happens on some other action out there. We got to keep on pushing on and looking for some good trades. All right, we'll see what else is out there, guys. I'm looking to make also some swing trade action. That's been the best this week. Day trading, not so good, but definitely the swing trade account pushing strong. And that's all we can do. I'm trying to get one of these funded, one of these new swing plans that we dropped funded. So only one way. Got to keep on swinging, baby. Keep on swinging. We'll see what happens in Grail, one of my favorite stocks right now. I've been talking about this stock since it's been up at the 40s. Now it's 46, got up as high as 49.50s. A lot of traders have been liking this name. It hasn't really taken off, though. So one thing to think about, but not looking bad at all this morning, is Grail. And I could take a look at different names out there that have been outperforming in the market, of course. Coin has been one we've been all over. NNE still looking good this morning. Tesla, we'll see if it can catch the lift. Clean Spark's been pushing really strong the last 3 days. Can it keep going? IonQ has an event coming up. So maybe look, is today the day that the quantum names can move? I know they've been struggling and not getting the lift with other names. Hood, really good mentions yesterday out of their event. I saw a lot of talk on Hood. It's really pushing, but today could be that pullback day. We'll see what happens with Archer and other names like Joby, because that's what I think you really need for your surf air mobility play. You'd like to see Archer. You like to see Joby stay strong. Snow has stayed strong, that's for sure. We'll take a look at that one. Bull, I want to look at this one today too, because I was watching yesterday and I talked about how it needed to hold 11. Look how we undercut 11 yesterday. We went to 1178. This morning, we're undercutting it again. We're going to look for a breakout above 11 today on Bull to see if we can get this to go higher, and then I'm able to nail it, right? So I'm going to set an alert there at 11:02. Let me know if it starts to pop, and I'll let you guys know so that we can get after it. We'll see what happens with that one. We'll see what else we can get. ASTI now starting to try to spike towards the 3. Can this one get the spike here and get back up? We'll watch and find out. Steph, what's up? ASTI for a quick scalp. Yeah, get it, Steph. Got runned over in CYN there, and I think it was a part of me just not being able to pay attention, but it's just a part of it. It's part of the game of playing these small caps, especially on a quick short. I had the opportunity there to take about 180 multiple times. Was looking for a little bit further and did not catch the move when it bounced back. We'll see what happens with that one. That one could keep climbing today, of course, with an NVIDIA mention, but it really isn't a deal with NVIDIA. It's just more of a good mention. All right, we'll see what happens. Will the Qs hang on? Will we hit the all-time highs? All-time highs. Singing into it. We'll see what happens. Multitasking Mitch. Yeah, Steph, not so good on the multitasking today. You could see it in the early part of the stream. I was focused, and then I was like, all right, Mitch, you got to go run the show. You got to go do stuff. But that's just how it goes, man. Good morning. Good morning. I was wondering about your affiliation with Trade the Pool. Do you work for Trade the Pool? Yes, I do work for Trade the Pool. And that's what I do, guys. I do this show, right? If not, I would trade on myself. I would definitely still use Trade the Pool to use my prop firm action. I probably still have a swing account on the side, right? That's what I used to do. I used to do a lot of swing trading. But yeah, definitely, man. I'm here with Trade the Pool. I went with Trade the Pool a lot, especially after I was representing them also when I was at Benzinga doing a live trading show. And then I said, you know what? I love the team out there. Let's go join them and do something special. So that's why I've been here, guys. And I'm enjoying every day, right? Get to trade in front of you guys, get to show you guys exactly how I go about things. And some days, yeah, it does cost me. I'm as honest as I can be. Being a host and talking news sometimes does cost me, but truth is I'm here for you guys to learn. And so I view those moments as just a way to pay it forward for you guys. So I'll take the cut for you guys to continue pushing forward. All right, we'll see what else is out there, guys. SPY still kind of leaking off the numbers. The funny part is the numbers have nothing to do with pretty much a leak kind of feeling. But let's see if this is just more of a way to try to shake out some of the bulls right before the open, right? So we'll see what happens there. Let's keep getting after it. We can take a look at some small names. There's ASTI trying to break the 3. You can see it's trying. We'll see if it finally breaks the 3 and makes a little bit of a run. I could see maybe a 4 run. I don't know if it's going to get to 5, but 4 definitely could be in play. We'll see what happens there as the Qs still struggle here. Just seems like it's funny, right? It's going to struggle today, right? Well, we'll see what happens. The Qs are really not where it's at, though. We're looking for the SPY to break the high. Let's go, SPY. Let's go. Let's break that. Let's close in the cash. Let's get up there. Let's keep above kind of like the 608.53s. Let's just hold up there and make a new move to 610. Why not? Let's see what happens there, guys. All right. What's going on now? Now that's an honest man. Respect. Yeah, Jimmy. It's going to be fun and not so fun sometimes, man. And losing on trade sometimes because you get driven to another trade. That's just a part of the game too. That's why we always got to remember the risk side of things, right? All right, guys, we're going to kick the show off. We'll get to the trading action. We'll take a look at what's moving out there. You guys out there, let me know what's on your top stock. What's your top stock to watch today? Maybe there's a stock that we're missing that you're right on top of. All right, let's see what happens, guys. Let's get to the action. It's time for Trade the Pool. Start that countdown. Let's go trading. Hugo wants 200, baby. You ready to get back to the trading action?
You aim, you shoot, and make money.
It's going to be a great day. You guys know where you're at. What's going on, traders? How we doing? Let's kick the show off. Let's bring on the man himself, Michael Noss. What's going on? How we doing? It's a good all-time highs morning to you.
Another good day to be a bull. Another bad day to be a bear. Again. So yeah, no, I heard you talking earlier there, and we do need to see the SPY kind of wake up and get going. So I've got an alert set today at that all-time high.
SPY kind of like just, I mean, the numbers weren't even bad. It's not, I don't think it was just the excuse to pull it back a little bit here. But hey, I think we just wait to see, right? What happens.
Well, and we've said it a bunch, right? There will be games around, right? A level like all-time highs that everybody, whether you're a technician or a fundamental guy or a short-term trader, a long-term trader, when you have these areas that everybody is watching, the market's not going to make it. clean. It's gonna get a little close and pull back and maybe break out and then pull back, and there'll be a lot of games around this number just to shake both sides out, shake the shorts, shake the longs. Again, if you go back through history and just look, you can see them, right? The most recent one, right, is this 2023 bear market that I just like to show people. And
Yeah.
again, we had so many bear markets recently that it's just very easy to go back and look. This is the area. So this line is all-time highs. You can see what happened when we got close to it last time. Is what, a month or so of just will we, won't we, will we, won't we, and then we broke out a bit, and then it looked like we are going to fade back down. And you can do this all right. The 2020, here's the 2020 bear market. So you just mark the high after the bear market. We broke out and then fell back down, and then right. So this type of games, either right before the all-time high or right after the all-time high, are not only expected, it would be surprising if we just blew through and didn't revisit, right? That would shock me. That'd be just too easy. The market's never that easy.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, it definitely is right there, right? I think we have seen the action kind of slow down, so looking to see if we get a ramp up period. I think we get kind of at some day we're going to get this kind of blow off top kind of look, where I think it's just going to be gas pedal day, but then that next day is where I'll be concerned to see what happens, right? So I'm still riding.
Again,
you ride the gas pedal. Ride the gas pedal for as long as we have it.
And
foot's on the gas, man. And it's overnight gas though, a lot, right? It's not intraday gas. That's the problem that we've been seeing a lot.
Well, and that's what I love. I think there's an actual, I need to find the ETF out there, but there's an ETF that buys the S&P 500 every day on the close and sells it on the open, because there's been a lot of studies doing that you make way more money buying the close and selling the open than you do buying the open and selling the close. It's like over half of the
all the
gains.
time, man. Dennis does it all the time. He knows it.
Yeah, it's over half the gains of the market over the last 20 years were done in the overnight hours. And it's because that's when news comes out, right? That's when earnings are reported. That's when, all this stuff happens. And we know if, NVIDIA is going to report earnings, they're going to do it after hours. And if it's good earnings, you're going to get the gap up there. Then it also just makes sense of you being rewarded for risk scenario, right? Where, the more risk you take on, generally speaking, the more reward you get in the long run. So it makes sense that overnight there's more risk, so there'll be more reward there. Until there is no overnight hours, which is coming sooner than we think.
We'll see what happens when that comes in, and how trading will change, because I think it definitely will change. Just like I think trading changed in free commissions. But that's just the name of the game. Gotta adjust. Adjust and play the game. All right, we'll see what happens today. Will we get some names to continue riding higher? I got run over this morning in that CYN. I was trying my best to pay attention to it, but then I went over to the playbook, and let's just say the playbook cost me the play. But we'll see what happens. This CYN ripping higher now, almost up to 15. And I think that, of course, this one was an interesting PR. This is when I tell you guys that some people do PR the right way and some people do PR the wrong ways. One of the best ways to do the right way, just mention a big name.
Oh, they've got all the buzzwords here. Partners with NVIDIA to develop autonomous.
You see that? So guys, everyone, if you're in the PR business, this is how you write a PR.
Yeah, because the bots will pick you up instantly with something.
Everybody's gonna hate on CYN today, but the truth of the matter is they did a good PR, right? Like whoever they hired understood the buzzwords, understood that they could mention them, and they're not even really getting partnered with NVIDIA, right? It's just they're using NVIDIA.
Yeah,
they're being smart with the buzzwords, man. Buzzwords can help. Algos picked it up. That's what got the first lift. Now traders are causing this break.
And then the algos will dump it to the retail people that only read the headline and don't go any deeper. And the cycle repeats.
Yeah. Yeah. The algos bought the rip. They sold through that, right? Probably already out.
Oh, yeah.
In this name. And then they've already made their money while retail's trying to ride it up, right? Ride the wave. So we'll see what happens with this one. And we'll see. It's not a bad one to watch.
News like that, that's an interesting fade to me. Now, problem is my view app strategy won't work because this the stock just didn't exist yesterday, right? So the two
Yeah, so
VWAPs are the
hard
same
to have a
price.
2-day, 2-day VWAP. It's just impossible.
But maybe maybe this is one of those. If you see it through VWAP a little later, you see it pull back, you end up taking a little bit of a short there.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that one. Like always, just got to keep an eye out on these small names, right, guys? I did get run over, so I don't know if it's the revenge trader in me, but I'm feeling CYN later today. We'll see what happens. All right, let's keep going, guys. We'll see what else is out there and what else we could trade. Anything on the radar, man? I know that MU reported tech stocks have been pushing really strong. NVIDIA new highs. Of course, you guys know how I feel about AMD greater than NVIDIA, but it seems like the news just wants to talk about NVIDIA. Still not seeing the talk about AMD's rip, right? I mean, I'm still not seeing that love out there, but I know that there's traders that are focusing on AMD and building positions. And that's all I need to hear, right? I want the traders to talk about it first, because that just tells me more and more that we're seeing something that the media is not even focusing on. And when they don't focus on one, that actually gives it room to run, right? When they over focus or over scrutinize on one name, it's hard to continue the rally higher. Just because you're almost like inviting the bears in, right? Because you talk so much about it.
Well, yeah, and we know the media is always late, right? I always think it's hilarious that in the CMT they teach the magazine cover indicator, and for the audience that might not know, the the magazine cover indicator is that if they're saying, oh, oil is going to go to 1 million, then you want to be short oil, and if it's saying
the opposite of the magazine, right?
And so when they start talking about it, that's interesting. But MU, I have on the chart here because you mentioned I'm interested in this one because it had this big spike and then came back down, now touched the 2-day VWAP and it's starting to bounce through. So I'm going to watch this one for potentially one of those undercut and rallies. You can see into the open, it sold off, undercut the pre-market low, but held 2-day VWAP and now is breaking this one. This is kind of the next. I don't think I'm done kind of exploiting these VWAP strategies just yet. So the next one that I want to do is just that. Like, show me a bunch of stocks that have pulled all the way in after a big gap up to the 2-day VWAP and then now bounced and are breaking back over VWAP. And then that's going to be a potential second continuation play on that. So that's what I'm watching here. As long as this level holds, then I'm going to watch for a VWAP break kind of off the open. Something else that I actually looked at yesterday, I haven't brought this up all week, I forgot about. But this is the commitment of traders data that I always talk about. It shows the positioning of the large people out there. And this green line, this is the large speculators. I didn't notice. I noticed this. I haven't brought this up to you guys. They got more short last week. They shorted into last week's action. So probably going to get run over. So that increases the likelihood of a short squeeze pretty dramatically. Now, this purple line right here, this is the small speculator. So this is kind of the dumbest of the dumb money. The blue line being the large speculator, which is the dumb money. And then the red line is the commercial trader. These are the guys who know what's going on. But yeah, so the positioning is more short last week. And I just thought that was crazy with market hitting new highs. So it looks like there's some fuel for this, and that's something that we could see over a number of days or weeks. So I'll be interested to see on the weekend what this comes out as again, because if they're continuing to short into this rally, we're gonna have a real bad time if we're starting to break highs. They've been short this whole
Seems like rip. There's some negative news out there on DeepSeek progress stalled by U.S. export controls. It seems like the information just reported that.
Cool.
Look for that to change. There's already talks of the export controls adjusting, and that's part of China's deal that they want with the U.S. So look for that to change. That's why NVIDIA has been making a move. That's why AMAT's making a move. That's why semiconductor equipment stocks are making a move. Just focus on the rhetoric sometimes, guys. They gave you the hint when the last China deal, what was talked about was that supposedly export controls was on the table. And what did NVIDIA specifically go to President Trump about? Export controls. There's a big reason why, guys. When the big boys, the big companies come pushing on Trump, they change things. And I think that that's exactly what we're seeing here. They're pushing on Trump enough to say, hey, you want the market to go up? Well, we do a deal on this export controls thing because, yes, China gets some chips. Hooray. You can't take it away from China. I think Trump is finally realizing that he has no chance of destroying China. No chance. I think he's finally realized it, and he's just gonna go weak hands on China now. He's because what it's gonna do, it's gonna cause growth here if he goes weak on China. If he goes hard on China, guess what? We're right back down. So don't expect strength coming from Trump anymore. Expect weakness in the deals. Expect deals to happen and the other side to win more than us. So in this case, it's going to be a benefit, though, to the market because we were all scared about him getting aggressive, getting strong arming the market. But we found out we can't.
Yeah.
And so he's flipped on everything that he's talked about, almost everything. The only thing that he's been stuck to is immigration. Other than that, think about it, right?
Well, he
tariffs,
even flipped on that
completely
for a
flipped.
while about
Even then,
Yeah.
he flipped on that because the pressures get to him. And so what is his always focus is growth at the end of the day, right? Like he wants to do his initiatives, but at the same time, if the stock market doesn't go up, Trump's not happy.
Well, and more specifically, right, the bond market. That's where
Yes.
things started to flinch. So always pay attention, right, to
And
these
now
spikes
let's
right
see if we
here.
get a TLT. Like, do we just start to break out? Because look where it's at.
Yeah, and this would be the inverse. This is the TNX or the rates.
TNX.
As soon as rates got up to like 4.5%, 5% every single time, and we talked about it, I know, ad nauseum on this show. Every time rates got to this zone, he would do something to help the tank the market over and over and over again. So that's your line in the sand. If you ever see rates back up at 4.5%, 5%, that's when you know he's going to do something in order to push the rates back down. So he's been told, rightfully so, in my opinion, that if rates get too high, the government has to spend so much to service its debt and everything that it's going to just crash the whole economy, right? Again, I don't think Trump cares if Nike goes bankrupt because of tariffs. I don't think he cares if any individual company, but he's being told rates get too high, it's the whole country that goes down. It's not just a couple companies here or there that, you know, maybe you like, maybe you don't. Who cares?
Yeah, definitely. I would say that at this point, I'm actually even looking for the TLT to run. I think this is a good spot to start looking for this to make a move.
TMF, yeah. So TMF, if you want to get crazy with it, that's a 3x leveraged TLT.
To me, I think this looks like a perfect inverse head and shoulders. You've had a cross all the way in the MACD since May 27th. You've been building here. Now it's just volume to go, right? And we want to see a day where maybe this TMF trades like 20 million shares. If it can do something like that, it can really start to move here. I think it can make a move back towards like maybe the 200 moving average. I have the EMA, but it's at like 43.30. That's not a bad move to 43 here.
That's a nice, it's a nice 10% on bonds where you know you're not going to wake up overnight and bonds are down like 50%,
10, 12%, right? So that's not a bad risk to return here with that much bottoming in the chart, right? With that much consolidation behind you, if you can get the break above here. And the good thing, these are liquid, right? Like,
oh yes,
this is liquidity at its finest.
The bond market is 10 times bigger than the stock market. I always say that little tiny fish like us trade stocks.
Yeah.
The big guys trade bonds and derivatives, and then the countries trade currencies. So it's huge. The bond market is just so big compared to the stock market. It's crazy. But that means
it's interesting play there for sure.
The reason we trade the stock market is just because the bond market's so big that's almost boring. It's kind of like, not to knock on our Forex counterparts, but it's kind of like how Forex, where you get, you know, in the Canadian dollar, if you get a 5% move in a year, that's a big deal. And then we're watching stocks that are up 50, 100, 200% a day. So again, doesn't mean that there's not edge there. You just have to really change your expectation, right? You're not looking for even this triple leveraged version of the bonds, you're not looking for this thing to double, because that means the bonds have moved up 30%, which is just crazy. Right? You're looking for, some amount of gain, but again, knowing that your risk is going to be very small. So if you're looking to make 10%, you're probably only risking 2.5 to 5% to do it, right?
Dude, this CYN just state. Did you scroll back on the chart?
Oh yeah, I did. The second you brought it up, $200,000 was its IPO price. Yeah, I could get there maybe to $200,000 a share.
Yeah, man. It's done at least, I think, like 4 or 5 splits.
Oh yeah, this is very likely
splits
a
I love are
long-term
the
zero.
1 for 100 or the 1 for 150.
Jesus. Yeah, most
I don't know
likely.
how this is allowed, dude. Like, come on, just put some type of regulation where this company disappears, man.
Yes.
Right?
No,
Like, are
this
you
is
with me,
just
Michael? Like this is just a trick for investors, right? Like,
well, and unfortunately, most people's charts will look like this when they bring them
yeah,
up,
they
and
won't
they'll
look.
say, "Oh," and they
This is
won't do
looking good.
this. Yeah,
That's
you've gotta, it's like back when, I know we're not anymore. Back when you're on dating profiles and you'd see them like
dude.
just do like a weird picture or something. You're like, "Yeah, what are you hiding back there?" And that's what it's hiding back there. Is that it used to be $200,000 a share,
the
but
the 200 EMEs up there to 477. That should
oh,
tell
it's
you.
easy. And and I know because I show up every now and then. I do this thing on the Stock Twits network where they ask me
Yeah,
questions about stocks, and they're always stocks like this. They're always, and I have to give like the same speech every
I don't
week
know
and
how
just
you do it,
saying
man.
it ain't coming back because they're
I'd be
asking.
leaving that one to Leah.
Because they're asking. They're like, "Oh yeah, so I'm long from 7,000." Like, well, what do you think my odds are? I'm like, less than zero. You'd be better selling, getting the couple bucks you have in the stock back, and going and buying a lottery ticket. That'd probably be better odds that you're going to make your money back. So the beauty of that is that we know now that at some point this thing's going to tank dramatically. So this might be a watch over the next couple days to
Yeah,
see,
it can keep
you
running. It's definitely getting the buys on the 9 EMA right now, and it continues to do that. What am I
yeah,
looking for? Well, crack the 50. Crack the 50, right?
yeah.
So I've been talking about this often more, is that a lot of times the short time frame is your signal for the fast traders to get out. Then you got your kind of intermediate time frame that you want to use, whatever that may be. Maybe it's the 20, right? Maybe it's the
Mhm.
20 and not the 50, whatever that may be. But look for that time frame to break to show you that it wants to at least give you a nice breakdown and wash some of the traders. Then we can maybe look for the breakdown. That's what I'll be looking for. So right now, I just let it keep going, let it keep going, let it keep going, let it keep going. And the more that it goes, the more juice it's giving me on the downside when it comes. So just got to be patient with a name like this. And to jump at it here, I think you're way too late on the long side, right? Like
Mhm.
there's traders that are looking at this to the long side today. And yeah, it might make sense if you were in the pre-market trading this at 7:30 to 8 a.m., but now trading this at 9:30 when this stock is up 205%. I mean, let's just be honest. Like that's just asking for danger at the gates here. We'll see what happens, guys. It's going to be a fun one, definitely to trade CYN. Let's go to some other setups here that you can look around in the market. Any other one that's on your radar here before the bell?
I'm still kind of watching FedEx from
Yeah,
yesterday.
not a bad
Right,
one to look at.
did a good job recovering that low. It gapped down, but then rallied most of the day. So if that one can get going, and then CEDG is another one. These are
Yeah,
starting to
school name.
rally, but it's
Hot.
kind of reminding me like these are junk, right? These are solar names.
Oh yeah.
So if it's going to rally from 13 up to 20, 50% in just a couple days, I think if this fades back through VWAP, we could get to the 2-day VWAP on that one, just because, yeah, what a move.
CYN almost hit 16 there. I think it tapped it. No, 1598, almost to 16 now. So, well, but solar, yeah, I caught multiple names this morning. I saw Beam also up big amount, 18%. BEEM. Run is making moves. And we've talked about this often. I've talked about how when technology has a tendency of getting in that momentum push, solar just runs. I don't know what it
Mhm.
is, but just solar just runs. It has nothing to do with anything of solar, but it just has a tendency of being the momentum pushes. I think that's
Yeah.
probably because of the short interests that are in these names. And then so when this like kind of momentum happens, it just drives it a little bit faster in that direction. Supply and demand kind of thing, right? Where that's
Yeah.
what's coming into play here. But you can ride these with the wave, but I would be very short lived in that wave, right? And I'm thinking that yeah, it's not a bad play. At least we're seeing it this morning.
Well, yeah, and they're high beta names, right?
Yes.
So it's just gonna move. They're gonna move whatever the market moves a lot more. So yeah, I'm just looking to see. They're great names to trade, right? Because when they gap down, if you had done some sort of reversal strategy, it would have worked. And then when it gaps up, if you did some sort of reversal strategy, it would have also worked. So that's the game plan that I'm looking to do on this particular one and on these others. And then the other one is this PAYX, just to see if this might break VWAP and then push to the upside. It tried a couple times yesterday, but really no go. So just trying to see if it can get a little bit of a reversal from being down like so huge that was yesterday anyway.
Yeah, keep your eyes on one that I'm looking for a bigger move to start coming back. XYZ block, man. Just that, man. Swing. Looking to it to show me the move here, but
Yeah.
I like the look at least. Because if you can get back here through this kind of like 65 going so towards 70s, I think you can get back to 80. You start getting all the moving averages below you, and you could start to climb back. It's going to be more to do with stable coins and all that blockchain technology. But remember, this company is literally called Block. And what are you seeing in the media right now? A bunch of blockchain technology talk. So what's going to happen? Well, people are going to start researching what are blockchain companies to buy. And what's going to happen? Well, the company's called Block. It's going to go up to the top of the list. And so I'm watching this. This is a long-term outlook. I always try to catch little comments, little things. I bring them to you guys, just like I'm talking about software. So software AI right now and blockchain AI is what I'm hearing a lot of talk of how they want to adjust the financial systems. You're seeing a lot of conversation with that. So just keep your eyes on different blockchain technology companies and also small caps that mention blockchain, right? So always it's like I call it, you could call it the flavor of the day, right? Things like that. These are the hype words that are out there right now.
Yeah, and I'm always surprised this one could just never get off the rails here at all.
I
It
mean,
just,
it
you
used to
know,
be a really good stock. It used to be a really good stock, right? I
yeah,
mean, before the
pandemic.
bear market of the 22, I mean, if you don't have that part, you think this is an absolute monster of a stock. But what happened at that top? And I think it was very important. What ended up happening is we started to see a real decline of payment flow going through Block, going through PayPal, and it really started to affect these names. Visa and Mastercard were able to hang on during that downfall, but these names weren't, right? And so that's why people are watching for Visa and Mastercard to fall here and watch for these to come back up. So if you look at those charts, it makes sense. You see Visa, you see Mastercard starting to lose altitude, and you see Block trying to start to come back, right? So maybe this is just kind of a mean reversion trade. Some people are saying, but MasterCard and Visa always survives. They'll figure it out, they'll adjust and continue going. But
Probably.
I like to bring up these themes, right? Because this is how you can go ahead and find something that you believe in an investment thesis, and make a play, right? Make a play, right? I always say try to trade something that you know, some things that you're seeing, some things you're hearing about. I think those types of trades can really kind of bring you a bigger trade up your sleeve. So we'll see what happens towards the bell here. 9:24. We got about 6 minutes left.
Yeah, let's take a look at some levels here.
Yeah, how's this SPY doing? Just still chopping right there off of that number.
Yeah, just nothing really happening. So we got a pretty prominent pre-market range at 609. And we got to remember all-time highs is 613. So we have to keep an eye on that. All-time highs 613, and then post-market lows are way here down here at 606. So could just fall back. It's like been flirting with falling back into yesterday's range right here, but so far holding up pretty nicely. 2-day view apps at 607. So it could be a lot of come down in order, before still be bullish, right? It wouldn't surprise me to come down, test 2-day view app or something like that, and still be a really bullish day with a nice gap up. And yeah, I think we're done for today, aren't we? He's not yapping anymore, is he? Oh, thank God.
No more yap. No more yap. We don't got to worry about Mr. Yapping on the Congress floor.
Thank you.
There's a comment here in the chat. I always like to catch comments, and we talk to Steph all the time here. And I think it's very important because we enjoy these moments, right? It's like it's kind of like being, like I always say, you got to have traders that are like your friend, that you can be those types of traders that you can talk to about strategy. We're not trying to necessarily turn each other, but what we're trying to do is really talk about the data, right? Because sometimes you're seeing it, but not being able to stay on what's actually happening there. Your friend might be able to see that data a little bit more objectively than you're seeing it. And the next thing you know, you can gain something there. So Steph, you're mentioning something again here, right? I might chicken out, same as yesterday, already profitable before the market opens with a trade. Do I need to trade the open? Do I need to trade anymore? These are questions you're having, and you're having an internal conflict. You need to talk this out with traders, and especially talk this out with yourself and analyze your data, right? Because that's what's going to tell you, right? And maybe what you need to do is put your trading data in, maybe one of these trading journal services, right? Michael talks about this all the time too, right? Because it will also show you things like maybe how good are you between 9 and 9:30, or maybe you're just a lot better between 7 and 8 a.m., right? The time windows, right? Windows are so important. And I feel like sometimes traders forget that, right? And then sometimes you might learn that, hey, I suck at trading from 9:30 to 10:30. But I do really well if I wait past 10:30 and then make a trade towards the lunchtime. Well, then maybe I don't even need to be here for that first hour of the day, right? Things like this can really gain you on your edge. Maybe, Steph, you're just a really good trader that can see things in the morning and can't handle the speed of the open. There's nothing negative about that. Understand it and push your edge, right? Push to where you see success, right? And so I think that these are the moments where you really can grasp and look into your data to let it tell you where to go versus you like just think and feel it, right? Let the numbers tell you. What do you think about that, Michael? Oh, you're on mute. Somehow.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't do that, but the computer's got a mind of its own. But no, you guys know I'm a huge data-driven type person. I think more than anything, your own data for your own trading is going to be even better than any kind of back test or anything like that. So yeah, make sure you're recording it. And if you just find that you're just making money every morning, then great. Maybe you spend more time and energy focused on that pre-market and just focus all of your attention there. Trade more in the pre-market, exploit your edge more, and then spend the rest of your day doing something else or researching new styles that you could do during the opening or the afternoon or whatever. But no need to push it if you're getting that profit target early enough, right?
Yeah, and I think that sometimes it's also okay. So maybe like you did yesterday, right? So you stopped trading your eval account. I noticed that, and you said you switched over to a paper account. Well, that's okay too, because you could just maybe test another strategy towards the open, right? And you're just testing out there to try to find out what you could trade during the intraday market. But I also think it's very important to try to separate these trades, right? Have certain accounts for certain strategies so that you could really hone in how you're doing in that trade. Because I feel like sometimes when we trade one account with too many strategies, we we kind of lose track of what each strategy is performing. So you really need to do that data so that you understand that, right? So that you can say, hey, this is the strategy that's holding me back. Not, oh man, I don't know why I'm losing. Well, really, you got to dig deep, man. But Steph, all here to support you. Wish you the best of luck. 9:30 is here. So if you need to get out, go ahead. We'll never be mad at you. All right, let's go ahead. Let's keep trading. Let's get after it. That's what we're here for. You guys go make that money. Go get that cash. Like always, stay safe. Smoke Tuna is actually, I'm going to be bringing Smoke Tuna on, and he's actually got a cool little AI scanner that I'm going to be bringing on a couple of times during the show. And like always, guys, with AI, keep pushing the levels. I know Michael would say it also. Let's get after it, traders. Let's see what we can do. Halting, CYN right out the gates, back to the upside. Oh no, it didn't. It didn't halt. What the hell is going on here?
Looks frozen here.
What the hell is going on?
Yeah, it looks frozen to me. Looks halted.
I really don't understand why I can. Why do I have levels to trade off of this right now? Yeah, this is a little weird.
Yeah, that looks like, to me anyway, it looks all. Maybe there's a glitch in the system here, but
there's a glitch. There's a glitch.
SPY, the initial move on the SPY here was higher to push us up to get to that pre-market high, and now we're reversing from that. So no movement right off the bat, but we got to watch these lows. We got to watch these highs. We got to wait for something to develop either side. And yeah, that's definitely halted.
All right.
Other than that, looking at the Qs, seeing a little bit of a sell there right off the open on the Qs. But yeah, it's just a very, very quiet, muted open so far. So make sure you're not going too crazy. Take a look here, TLT. Oh, so getting a trade alert come through here on MU. Looks like it broke down the 1 and the 2-day VWAP, so there's really nothing too much to do there. PAYX, yeah, nothing really there either. So, okay. PAYX is looking interesting. So I'm looking for this one. Need a little bit more volume. There's only, what, 900 shares done? In this one, there's 100,000 shares done right off the open. Okay, that's fine. Just looking to see, this one actually got clobbered yesterday. So just looking to see if we get a little bit of a bounce in this one as well. Someone's saying a print issue in TSLL.
Yeah, I think there's
a weird tick
issues right now. I think we're getting some weird ticks there, guys. So just be careful out there, guys.
Be careful. The markets do that. Remember, what was it, 2 years ago where Berkshire Hathaway went to zero?
I can tell you right now, there's some weird ticks going on.
Initial push down. That could be a bit of the quietness that we see off the open. Sometimes if we see some exchange level glitches, then you can see the market will just kind of chill out because everyone turns off their bots. I know from experience when things kind of go wild like that. So let's be careful if we're getting, again, it happens sometimes. If you guys weren't trading, I think it was probably 2 years ago now where Berkshire Hathaway actually went to zero, and there's people buying Berkshire Hathaway, the class A, which is a $300,000 stock. They were buying it for a penny. Those trades got broken, unfortunately, for those guys. But yeah, so could be the reason we're consolidating here.
Ion Q pushing. That one's I like, guys. Ion Q. So I'm looking at Ion X.
Q's broke down, closed under VWAP. Pretty somewhat nasty candle there for the Q's. I'm going to look to take a little bit of a short here.
All right, guys, going to look for a nice little dip back down here in Ion X. I'll let you guys know if I get it.
And the profit target right there at so that's a 2-to-1 risk reward trade, just right on the Q's. I saw MU breaking down, so that's going to be the main kind of focus here. Just to see again if we get a little bit of reversion there on this guy.
UMAC doing good today. RCAT, so drone names doing pretty decent there. I will mention that. HIM's up today, still bouncing a little bit. It went red first, now going green. Drag today is Pony. AMD pulling back a little bit. Snow and Bros showing up there. So you're getting some pullback.
Bro. Yes, again, very, very quiet open. Again, could be because we're seeing some glitches around there that, again, sometimes kind of clams us up. People don't want to run big bots, big orders through a system that's kind of glitching, so they can wait just a little bit.
Ion X, man. Ion Q just taking off here, guys. It has an event, and I think that's what this is. I've been waiting to see the takeoff, but it's not letting me in. It's just taking off here. Up there to 40.20 now. So really strong move on Ion Q. You could look for Rigetti also. It's starting to make the move. It's trying to push off that 1130s. But that's just like trying to play a leader to laggard style move.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't catch that move already. It's a 62. I wanted it more 59.50.
QBTS might be interesting as a break under the post-market level and this pre-market level right off the open, then reverse that kind of undercut and rally of the pre-market trades.
All right, let's see if we can get this Rigetti. Qs are red, though. That's the hard part. You got to jump on this with the Qs being red.
Yeah, and not only red, selling just a little bit here, right? So because I am short right here, I just took TQQQ instead of the actual Qs, just because cheaper and leverage. But
guys, let me know when CYN opens. Chat, I know you'll be all over it. Shorted ASTI, get it, guys, get it.
Moving all buy limits lower. Yeah, this is so tax noticing as well. There's something strange going on.
11.
And just be careful when something like that is going on in the markets. Again, it happens. Markets are just a bunch of computers, so computers can kind of glitch out.
Bull looking good there.
There comes the Qs coming down now, looking to QQQ. I'm going to look
like
to see.
We're dropping a pretty good amount there, guys. It's kind of hard to buy some names right here with the down action we're seeing.
Yeah, so looking to see if we can get down to the 2-day VWAP. That's the ultimate target for this trade, just to see if we come down to the 2-day VWAP. Then I might do a little bit of reversal if we get above the this bounce off the 2-day VWAP and get to the 1-day VWAP. That might be where I kind of switch
continuing to go here, guys. I'm going to go for a scalp here on Rigetti. I see an Ion Q just continuing to push. It almost got there to 41. So trying to play a little bit of Rigetti on this push.
All right. Also took short position here on SEDG. This will just be a 1-to-1 kind of scalp.
RCAT through 750. Strong move on RCAT.
Q's bouncing already. Probably should have taken a few bucks off the table there. We'll keep an eye on it.
Let's get going, RCAT. All right, guys. So I'll show you guys my trade here. Trading RCAT, pretty much off the VWAP. So you can see how it's been siding here. So just sideways here. I'm looking for it to run back above the 1150s. Maybe make a run there back towards 12. It was at 12 yesterday, 1203s. So about 70 cents upside. That's the way I see it. Let's see if it really wants to go here. Just got a little peak there to the 1138s, but it didn't break out. So I'm looking for a move back above that.
The SPY is going to be a real tailwind. Or the Qs bounce there. It looked like it's fading back down again. I did just take a little bit off the table on the Qs, just opening range kind of scalp. then see if we get to the 2-day view app. So anything, just to mention, right? Because anything that is holding right now with the Qs selling, again, not dramatically, just a little bit, but
Go.
anything not selling, like Rigetti, it's probably a really good trade.
Yeah, RCAT is another one I like here. I just fighting myself which one to go for, but not a bad little move here. RCAT.
It's bucking the market trend, which is what we want to do.
UMAC, another one, right? Drone players. All right, guys, up a good amount here on Rigetti. Looking for IonQ to just continue to push. You see how this just continued to push? I couldn't catch the high flyer. It was just flying way too fast. So I just went with the one that was still a bullish pattern, but just like hanging out there, right? So what I usually think is that the algos go looking, right? And they see the same thing that I saw, a stock that's just sitting there on a bullish pattern in the same space. So they buy some IonQ, but then they also buy up a Rigetti. Here's a nice push to 1150. Now we're getting a nice little push here up about 145. Let's see if I can get one more push here and sell into it. I'd like to get just a pop towards like maybe 1160s, 1170s, and then just get out. Then I'm going to look to reload. Let's go. Come on. One more little push here.
Yeah, the Qs are digging in. Everything seems to be right, a little bit of a flush off the open. So the question is, the SPYs are doing much better than the Qs here, actually challenging pre-market highs. So the Qs relatively weak, at least off the open. So we need to see if we're going to get some sort of catch up from tech, because when you see the SPY doing better than the Qs, just means that it's tech that's weighing us down, and some other sectors like generally healthcare and
Tesla doing well.
Finance in this case is doing amazing.
I like Tesla today, guys. This is going to move all around. Tesla's actually doing pretty decent back above VWAP. Let's see if it spikes above this 1276. It looks good. Like if I wasn't in my other trade right now, I'd be looking at this, but you know how it is. Sometimes it drives your attention, but this is something that I like right now.
Yeah, CYN opened back up there.
Oh, CYN.
I think it halted again immediately.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Look at that. 21 now, guys.
Yeah, open
What
and
a
close.
crazy move.
Just that quick.
Well, this is second halt, right? Third halt, I'm going for it, guys. I'm waiting for the third halt, guys.
That's just crazy that.
Oh, I like how your charts do it better, where they show the
dots?
dashes. Yeah, mine just
really-
it like compresses that data, so it just shows nothing.
No, I like the dots because that's exactly what you're getting, right?
Yeah, it's just
Nothing.
no action for that time.
Nothing, right? And so it gives you like kind of the spacing away too. So what I like about it, it keeps the like trend lines and things like that symmetrical.
Yeah, well, I also wonder how it affects indicators,
Yeah,
right? Because indicators use price and time.
it's going to
So
affect it.
It may
Look at this
may change
MSTR strong. Remember I talked about Bitcoin, guys. I think Bitcoin's could go on a little move here. Let's see what happens. We're hitting all-time highs, yet Bitcoin isn't, right? So let's see it. Let's see if Bitto wants to make a move today.
Yeah, if the SPY does reverse here and start to push higher, and same with the Qs, which SPY is selling just a little bit, and then
right.
same with the
See if I can
Qs.
find a swing trade also.
See if if we get a catch up trade here.
Oh,
in
TEM actually pushing strong today. Of course. Traded it yesterday. What about SMR? SMR trying to recover here. I have an eye on SMR here.
oh, yeah,
Of course, I played this.
CYN hit number 1 on Luck and Coffee. Is that back out?
Yeah, it's been OTC name. It's actually doing pretty well in sales in China, but that's where it
Oh. Yeah, it's back near highs. It's actually a really good looking chart.
Yeah,
I just scroll through the top mentions
scary
on
looking charts.
on StockTwits. I found it's a good way to
Market's still dragging here. We'll see what happens, guys. Looking for Getty to hold here and push right back up through the 1150s.
why Luckin's not moving. I don't know why that's top mentioned, but yeah, you're top. And I'm interested to watch too. Once something becomes a top mention on StockTwits, is that the top? Is that right? It just hits CYN. Once you have every DGen in the world looking at it, it seems like that might be a top.
See what happens. See what other names start to make a move out there. Seeing Hims up 3%. That's actually doing really well. Did the VWAP recovery move we talk about?
Yeah, Palantir rocketing. New all-time highs again on Palantir, which I'm very happy about as a Palantir holder.
Too many people too excited about Palantir, I feel like. But hey, they're riding the wave.
That's it. Ride the trend. At some point, Zoom became a bigger company than ExxonMobil, so anything can happen.
Yeah, it could. That's the truth. VIX still dropping here, but Q's not riding up as high as the VIX is falling. That's a good sign, though. Like to see the VIX drop. SPY trying to make the move here. Let's go to the sectors here. Let's see what's in the green, what's not, and maybe what's starting to get in the green. First 15 minutes of the market here. Let's go for the last 10 minutes here. See what's starting to change and starting to lead. Healthcare, communication services, cyclical names. Energy and technology pulling back a little bit with this pullback. Looking around out there, guys. Trying to go through some of the charts here to see what's going on. Not seeing much there. Getty not being able to hold on really. My own Q pulling back there. There's some names to play there. I'm still in Rigetti.
Yeah, the Qs are really, really choppy down here. Getting close to just closing this position. The last, 10, 15 minutes has been kind of no action. So, one of those days, we've been saying that pretty much all week, mostly because JPOW's been yapping all week. But yeah, one of those days that we want to be careful. I think this CYN will definitely be the one to keep an eye on here.
Yeah, I think it's an absolute monster. There you go. Get that short on ASTI. Get it, Big Me.
Nice.
Get it. We won't be mad at you.
Yeah, Bitcoin just not going.
Yeah, just not going. The Q's dragging here. That's what I think I'm seeing, and I think that's the problem here is that but not getting the Q's to move. Technology not joining in on the rally here.
Which is weird because when I bring up the heat map, Meta, Netflix is up, Palantir's up, Apple's down, Nvidia's up. Right, Apple's the only one that's kind of down that I can see.
Google down 1%. We need Palantir to climb a little more, man. It needs to be Google. A little bit higher in the holdings. You got Nvidia down, Apple down, Google down, Meta down. That's what's going on here. Out the gates, right? All right, getting hit here a little bit in a Rigetti. It's just not going here, guys. We might get a dip. Here. We'll find out if the Qs can hold on. Break it at 542, and you could start to lose a little altitude here. I'm trying to hold on.
Yeah, look at just the 2-minute chart of the SPY off the open. This is uncharacteristically choppy, right? So we have to. I don't know. We gotta focus a little bit here. We gotta see what's going on. It feels like the market's waiting for something, but there's no more economic events or anything going on. So this might be just one of those. Just mark the opening range. For our boy Randos here, the opening range break trader. Just mark that opening range and wait for something like that to occur. And other than CYN, which it opened and closed again. So opened and then now it's gapped down pretty instantly. So these are happening right one after another. So
Patience, young grasshoppers.
Yeah, so CYN might be done. Generally, when you get that first gap down, that's
No,
or
no.
the
What are you
halt down.
doing? What are you doing, CYN?
Yeah, open and halt instantly. I saw it. It was like there was no
Good
you
lord.
had
I
you had to
told you,
have an order
CYN,
out
go
there.
for one more up and then the down. That would have been the play.
And give us a second to trade. Like that was just a boom.
No, the big thing is, I talk about this all the time. 2 halts, third halt, down halt. Man, like I've seen it. Like I got to do the math. I really wish there was someone that did the math on that. But I can tell you, it's high percentage win. It's like I would say like 75 or 80% chance of it being the down halt after the second halt.
And I would be very interested. One thing that I would like to get, and you could get the data, I'm sure it'd be hard, but are the down halts the end of the move, right? And then that might be an interesting trading strategy of just, let me wait for these things, and then the first down halt you short, and then
After the second down halt, though, I've seen a lot of up halts after that one.
yeah, the question just would be if you could get near that first down halt,
First
would
halt.
that be roughly the high of the day? So like
Yeah.
try to short
Yeah.
that, put a stop the high of the day, and then zoom
It's a
out
tough one to do.
until
It's a tough one to do,
the
man.
end.
And the truth is that when it opens up, it usually does like this one did, where it made a new high immediately and then
Yeah.
washes you, right? So they see the 21 break and people start jamming the 21, right? They see that 21 break. As soon as it gets out of 20.99, they see it break to 21, 21.10s, 21.15s. They start hitting the buy button. Oh, let's say if you hit 1,000 shares there. Really quickly, that dropped what? $2?
Yeah. And who knows where it's going to open, right? So you could open up like $5,000 or something and just hit the sell button. I just got out of my Qs long or my Qs short.
Yeah,
just
the
hit
Qs are
target.
dropping
So
fast, man. We're getting an
we
ugly open.
we have just hit the 2-day VWAP. So this is the average price of today and yesterday. So now I'm going to watch what I talked about earlier on this as well. If we hold around this price, around the 2-day VWAP, and then break back through VWAP, I may look to take that to the long side. But so far, that's one trade, one profit. I'll take that. I couldn't find
cut out of this Rigetti here, guys. It is low.
out there. CYN open, down she goes.
Another halt.
Then halted it. Yeah, be very careful. Trade. I lived through the flash crashes, right? I was there, so I understand why they put these rules on. But it seems like we have to be able to do it better in 2025. Like I was there. There was trillions of dollars wiped out in the markets in minutes. There was pandemonium. People thought there was a terrorist attack. They were closing down streets. They closed down. I remember they were sending kids home from school. No idea what happened with the market just tanking down like 6-7%. Again, at some point we have to play the shoutcaster who is casting it the whole time, the squawk box. It's a really interesting listen because it was absolutely pandemonium with like the news channels were saying, we don't know what happened. We don't know what's going on. The market's just completely falling apart. Again, people getting sent home from school. Everyone just thought, because it was right after, I think it was like 2006 or something, and everyone was still worried it was like another 9/11 type catastrophe. It was huge, and it was one dude put an extra 0 on an order and hit a button. Again, I'm surprised there's no Netflix documentary on something. It's such a huge event. So, but yeah, we have to find a better way to do this kind of halt stuff.
All right, we'll see if we can start to recover here, guys.
Find that. I'll find the link for you guys of that. You got to listen to it one time. Casting. Jeez.
Looking for one more dip here, guys, and then you got to be careful after that dip that it's not the flush down. So just be careful out there, guys. Need to start seeing some ramp back up. I'm liking SMR on the swing and RCAT, but it's just hard right now with the way the market's setting up there. You see how that RCAT set up right there. And then SMR is just bottoming out right here. I'm waiting to see it come back to the VWAP.
The Q's just almost to the tick bouncing off that 2-day view app and bouncing pretty aggressively. Like the 2-day view app is 541.50 and it got as low as 541.52. So within 2 cents of the 2-day view app. So if we hold this and then we break and close through the view app, then I'll look to buy. That'd be awesome. Take a short and a long kind of ID. See if I can take both sides of that, just in case that was just a little, a little dip down and then a rip back up through. So since the first trade was a 2-hour trade, then I know if the second trade doesn't work, then I'll still be up on if you combine the 2 trades.
Yeah, not a bad action there. We'll see how the Qs come back here and
just
start to get towards that.
Right, almost to the tick on the 2-day view app. So that would be the game plan: is buy it as if we break through. Right, your stop goes down here. The problem is targeting these. I might just put like a fixed 1.5 or something our trade on them, because that's, again, developing these strategies, because very, very soon I have been given some cool secret access to some stuff for auto trading. So very soon I got to start to get to work building new strategies.
UMAC right underneath the VWAP strategy. Not a bad look there on UMAC. Bull also right off the 11. I think that that 11 on Bull doesn't look bad for a swing trade off of that.
I know a lot of buddies, I've been talking about this, fundamental guys who have been accumulating down this kind of 11 area.
Monday we said look for the crack of the 11. We started to crack 11. Yesterday we pop up and gap up towards like 1180s. I said the pullback towards that 11 now. Well, that's your entry now.
It's funny, one of the guys that I was talking to who's buying back 11, he bought the IPO. So he bought it, I think it was around 15 or so, and then just yeeted out the next day because he said, this is just stupid. Like, this makes no sense. And then now he's taking all of those gains that he made and he's trying to get back in around this 11 area. Just fundamentally, and these are pure fundamental guys. They're not technical guys. They just think that this is roughly, a good price for it. And so if he can buy 11 and then I think his plan is to sell 15, he's like, if I can do that over and over again, I'd certainly be a happy camper, making 40% gains just over and over and over again. That'd be a good little trade.
A lot of you guys tuning in there on YouTube and, of course, on X. We're on both, guys. If you guys are on YouTube or X, drop a comment in the chat. It's good to see some new faces out there. Definitely hit the like button if you guys can do us that favor, just to show you guys appreciate us breaking down stocks from the chat, breaking down strategies, and showing you it all right here on Trade the Pool, of course. We'll see when CYN opens up. Do we get the up hold after the 2 down holds? That's where I'll be watching. Now, I'll tell you guys that I've seen it all the time, so I'm just going to try to play it. Maybe we get a quick dip towards 15 and then a quick recovery. We'll see what happens, as CYN's gone all over the place today. There's the open of CYN. Let's see what happens here.
Again. Oh, it's trading. It's actually doing some trading.
Yeah, it's trading. I'm in it.
Good.
I'm going to take a little bit here, guys. Small risk here. $74 risk off the 519 level here. Looking for an up halt.
It's a nice looking place into the back of this pre-market range.
Come on. There's a nice little push. There's a push to 1660s. Looking good. Break even stop now. Just trying to let it go now, guys. Here it is.
Do you have the halt prices marked up? I know there's some platforms that can do that.
Let's see if it goes. Come on. 17s now. We're up about $100. 120. Let's go for the up halt through the 18.
Q's recovering nicely here. That's going to be a wind at your back. Back bounce perfectly off that 2-day VWAP and now rallying pretty hard.
All right, we're not going in an immediate halt, so I'm going to set the green stop now. I want this to halt. But if it doesn't halt, I want out. because the wash is going to be a halt down,
Mm.
right? And so at this point, I'm just raising the stop loss. I'll show you guys it. I'm sorry, I didn't put it on the chart. That was
No,
my
I
fault.
was
On
following
the
you.
screen. Let's see what happens there. You guys see it right here. Got in right here on that 1590s. It lowered out right around that 15. It opened up, went to 15, 16. As soon as it was up here hanging out in the 16, I said, I'll take 100 and risk 100 here. Let's see what happens. They're up almost 200 now, up 200, up back towards 18s. I'm raising the stop right on that low. Here comes the halt. Here comes the halt, 18, 19.
Yeah, that looks halted.
Boom.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go and stop. Oh, look, it traded.
Oh,
It traded off of that. It
Oh,
tried
it
to
might-
come get me. It
I
tried to
would-
come get me.
well, I
They
would
tried to
say
get me, Michael. They tried to get me. The
fact that it's
foil hat is out.
yeah. Okay. The fact that it's getting that 1817 and not being there it goes through. So somebody just unloaded a bunch of shares
Yeah,
there
man.
and they were able to eat it.
1850s now. I got to raise up the stop. I got to make sure that if we don't go into a halt, I take the move down. 250s. All right, there you go. I'm putting it to 1770s. It should have already halted, man. And so I'm gonna if it goes in red candle, I'd rather get out. There you go. I'm out, guys. I took the gains.
Yeah, I think that's let's do a good little lesson there on tapering. And you notice by tapering, we mean we don't have a tape up, but you could see on the chart, both me and Mitch thought it was halted. And the reason for that is because it was coming up and it just stopped at a price.
Trading. There was no trading going on for a second.
Because so what happened was there's a massive order there selling either iceberg or otherwise. So it was printing the same price over and over again and just wasn't moving because somebody was unloading a whole ungodly amount of shares there or shorting a bunch of shares. You never know which one. But so that's why it looked like, that's why we both thought it halted, but it didn't because there was somebody selling a bunch there. So that's why I think Mitch, correct me if I'm wrong, you got really protective because that means you're seeing a big seller right in front of your eyes on the stock, right?
It's a lot of it. It's like go or no go, right? And so what's happening is someone's selling big up there. The stock can just drop fast, right?
Because often what you'll see is they'll start to sell. So say you've got 100,000 shares to sell. You get to that price and you start to sell. And then once the market realizes that you're there and you're onto it, they'll smack the rest with a limit order. Maybe they got out 80,000 shares into that price. And then they say, okay, I've only got 20,000 shares left. Get me out. And they'll just hit a market order. That's why often you'll get to these prices and then it will just, the bottom will fall out of it because the guy's like, okay, they're on to me. Right. So I have to get out now. Kind of thing.
And you're completely right. It's probably dark pooling action here, right? And so you got to be careful with that. Yeah, or iceberg or orders that you're not seeing essentially, right? And that's all that you need to know sometimes. Like I don't need to know that it was, I just need to know that it's not happening there, right?
Right, and that there was some big seller there is all you. Again, you don't know if he's shorting, you don't know if he's getting out. You'll never know any of this. But all you know is there somebody was selling a crap ton of CYN,
and this stock was making 10% moves and halting really quickly. That first candle was 12%, and it didn't halt. That should be a sign, right? If these candles can go 10% and really quickly, you're getting halts. Why did this candle not halt? Right? This first candle was 12%.
Because probably exactly where that guy was selling was probably like 1 cent under the halt price, and he knew what the halt price was.
The algo was selling there. It wasn't. Let's be honest. It's not a guy.
Well,
it's a machine.
Someone programs the machine.
It's a machine, right? It's a machine, though. It's a bot that sold that. And
well, that's what. So I guess I should, for people who don't know what iceberg orders are, I'll explain. I know a lot of you guys know, but the idea is
it's a really good lesson there. Really.
Nobody out there, no large player out there shows their size. There's no reason to, right? There's so many ways not to show your side. So an iceberg order, and even me and you as retail in interactive brokers, I can set up iceberg orders. And essentially what you do is you look to sell 100 shares, but then every time that 100 shares get sold, the system, my broker, replaces it with another 100 shares and over and over and over again. So that's why it's called an iceberg order, because you're only seeing the 100 shares, but I could have 1,000 shares, 10,000 shares, 100,000, a million shares to sell. You never know. It's just going to go over and over and over again. So if you see a stock get to a price and it's just printing 100 shares over and over and over and over again, and the price isn't moving, then you know that there's an iceberg order in there. You got to remember, if you're a big institution pushing big amount of shares and big orders out there, you are not doing so in a way that people
Q's
can
ripping.
see, right? You are hiding this order. You are paying people to do. This is what VWAP algorithms and everything is. Look
All
at
right,
that.
guys,
just
let's focus
rip.
in on names that are doing well as we get the Qs to rip higher. And look at that Ion Q, guys. Who's been talking about Ion Q's conference coming up? Probably not many. But you know that I try to do this for you guys. I can't take every trade, right? Unfortunately, talking about so many stocks, sometimes I'm not going to be able to trade them all. But look at this Ion Q today. Really nice move, guys. Really nice move off the daily. Now starting to get going. Let's see if it reloads here at 41 and really starts to push. That's what I'll be looking for.
Yeah, what a crazy, just again, 2 pennies
Then
from the 2-day
CYN could
VWAP.
go right back down, right? So just putting that in perspective, I thought this was a trend line approach. Where I talk about these all the time, where it wanted to come back to this trend line, give you the opportunity for the breakout. Now it could go right back to a breakdown, right? So I'm going to avoid that one like the plague. We'll leave that one alone, and we'll see what happens with other trades. Q's going higher. What are you seeing out there that's working?
BBAI is something that popped up as a potential short if things kind of fail. This massive crash it had yesterday. Now it's kind of working its way back up into that range. SPY looking just amazing here, right? Challenging 3 candles in a row to try to get through the pre-market high.
Oh yeah,
that could be a liquidity sleep, but I don't think so. It's just the way it reversed so quickly, and the Qs just crazy. Again, I highlighted this guy for you in real time, the 2-day VWAP down there, and just completely reversed.
yeah,
just to the tick.
completely.
So anytime you see something that clean, that makes me think that that's algorithmic as well, right? Just someone saying, "Hey, buy me at the 2-day VWAP," and that's what happened, right? So
All right, guys. I hate bringing up this stock, but it's doing well, and I would hate to buy this because I have certain rules it doesn't allow me. Michael doesn't have those rules, so I'll just give him the name.
yes,
SMCI.
yeah.
You know it, Michael. You know it.
I don't like playing anything that's got DOJ problems either. But for short-term trades, could be interesting.
The setup's there, man. The setup's there. The setup's there through this 48. So I think some traders are definitely watching this thing today.
Well, and I think it's one of those that you have to adjust your risk on that kind of thing. You have to know that if there is another DOJ investigation or something, because remember they just weren't even reporting earnings for like a year there. They were just like they had like 4 accounting firms that wouldn't do business with them. It's like that's stuff. I am more terrified of accounting issues than I am about war. I will buy war all day long. Accounting issues actually do scare me. But for a short-term trade, yeah, this base is really, really nice and a nice little breakout of that base. And we have the whole semiconductor sector trying to push up here, trying to get to all-time highs. Little lagging the semiconductor space to a lot of the other ones, but there's a whole growing group of people out there. I won't spend too much time boring people on Dow theory. Thinks that in Dow's theory, we should replace the transportation average with the semiconductor average. And I think that's something that makes sense. Essentially just meaning that semiconductors are way more important in this day and age than trains, right?
What?
So I can do a whole Dow theory lesson.
This is why I talk about it all the time. Financial markets change, guys, and if it doesn't change with the times, I mean, it's just ancient. It's like a tool that's ancient. It's no longer has edge.
Oh, Tack, we should get you on here. If you have Enron stories, man, Enron stories would be great. That's I was
come on whenever you want,
then.
man. Door's always open. I always tell it to everybody, guys. We have an open door policy here at Trade the Pool.
Enron, Arthur Anderson. I don't think as many people would talk about. I would love to chat with someone who is from long-term capital management. That was a fun. I think there's a cool documentary on that one as well. Almost ruined the entire market. What company replaced? No company replaced Enron. You haven't heard? Enron's back. Have you seen this, Mitch? That they bought like the name of Enron and the
Why not?
It's like a meme. It's a meme stock or a meme coin thing now. So
I would do that. That's a smart move. Buy the intellectual property of the name. Buy the name, right?
Oh, and their first tweet was great. It's something. It's like like we'll talk, like we have something to talk about or something. It's just Enron just came back out of nowhere, and everyone's like, "Holy smokes, Enron!"
Holy smokes, it's Enron. All right, guys, setup here. Just looking at it, RCAT, third bottoming candle here. It's just more about if you think we're actually going to have a bullish day or not. RCAT, little setup there. We'll see what happens. You can see how it's just hanging out there. Will it just recover? The setup's there. We'll see what happens. CYN still flirting with that 17, guys. It's just messing with people now. I think and that's going to be hard, right? It could still go up. It could go down. It's just literally in the middle. So just be careful out there, traders. NVIDIA, how we doing out there with the leader, right? Starting to catch back. In AMD, I'd like to see it get back to 44s, but NVIDIA looking good here. Let's see if it breaks 156, continues going. Q's 544. Will we get it? SPY, where we're at? 609.50s. Let's go. Let's go. How far away we at? How far away we here?
From the SPY, I've got an alert set that'll trigger it. Still like 4 points from the SPY, so we still got some movement to go. SPY, it keeps bumping its head against that pre-market high like 4 times now, and that's like 609.50.
Trying to do it in lunch, man. They're trying to do it in lunch.
It's like there's 3 topping tails there right in a row. I think
Enron was like Palantir at one point.
Oh, so was Amazon before it got
Shots fired by Money Mitch.
I don't. It's one of those. Again, if someone, I guess, if you're younger and you don't know the whole Enron story, there's a couple good documentaries about it. It was fantastic.
Didn't people like not know exactly what Enron did?
Oh no, Enron was trading scam. So everyone knew Enron was an energy trading company that they just completely like photocopying, like faking documents, like Bernie Sanders style stuff. It was
like Bernie Sanders style stuff.
Or Bernie Sanders was Madoff, Bernie Madoff. the other Bernie.
My boy put Bernie Sanders in it.
See this? I have a problem keeping all your important figures down there. I needed more coffee.
My poor old man Bernie Sanders right now being like,
"What you take a shape?" Another good documentary. I don't know if you saw that on Netflix. Was the Bernie Madoff? They had a whole. It's like a docu-series on him, and it was perfect. It was
trying to load it back. I don't know if I can trust it though. That's the hard part with that one.
I actually think MicroStrategy is the next Enron. That I would get on board with. Yeah.
MSTR. Yep. Yeah. One day it comes out somehow, some way. The block is broken on Bitcoin. Somehow there's more than 21 million or whatever. That would be the thing.
Well, that's what it's funny that you get the same people who are so hyped up on Bitcoin and so hyped up on quantum computers. And it's like they don't understand if we actually get quantum computers, Bitcoin's zero. Right?
It could be broken, right?
It's in its instant. If you get a quantum like a real quantum computer spins up, Bitcoin instantly goes to zero. It's just the next minute. Because you could
trying to go for the move.
Super hackable if you have quantum computers. Now, sadly, so is like everything else, like your bank and missile controls or whatever. But we'll deal with that when the time comes, I guess.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. All right, CYN trying to go for the break and stops right on the trend line. So let's see if it rejects that 18 and starts to go down. That's the way I can go into it. It would have to reject 18 now on the breakout look and then start to flush down. Then I can come after it and look for another down halt. We'll see what happens here. So now I'm thinking about maybe potentially shorting it, right? So
back through pre-market high here on the SPY. So we got it. And for now, if we reject again, I'll be kind of worried. But we just hit the pre-market highs. We came back down, settled in at VWAP for a few minutes, and now it looks like we're coiling higher up here on the SPY. So
see what happens here, guys. CYN. So hard, man. There it goes. It just spikes from like 830s to 890s in like less than a second.
That's like a good 5 share trade.
Dude, it's a big jump. It's a big jump, right? It's fighting resistance right now in the 19. We'll see if it rejects this 19, goes red candle. But just trying to be patient here. We'll see what happens, guys. Q's trying to hang on, trying. Still really can't hang on there. Ion Q leading my upside look here. Coin also holding on. AEVA recovering the VWAP. Grail, man, I should have traded Grail yesterday. I was seeing it down there below 45s. It's getting a nice swing back up to the 48. Big boys in this Grail, guys. I think this could really start to get going. We'll see what happens on that one. RCAT, a nice little bounce. What, you got something on Grail?
I was just not Grail. It's just Coin before that. Just good time to bring up. SPY's trying to break through highs. So is Q's. And Bitcoin's not moving, not really going. So again, I would like to see. Again, I look at crypto as a risk asset. I would like to see some participation in that or in Ethereum, which isn't going, or Solana.
Give me something there and risk on, right? Risk on areas, right? How's ARKK looking? It's holding on. Let's see if there's, I know healthcare was kind of leading earlier. Now I'm having basic materials take the lead. So silver is down, but gold is up. Copper, big breakout in some copper action.
Industrial,
STCO, big lift in Southern Copper. Ooh, this looks interesting. This looks like a swing trade alert.
Probably means China's moving. Yeah, so China's pushing a bit too. China and copper are just so interconnected. It's wild.
FXI starting to lift up. Is it time for a Baba day?
Maybe. That's a good idea. Good Baba there.
A Baba day?
Yeah, because China is by far the largest consumer of copper. So generally speaking, you'll get some sort of correlated move there.
Doesn't look bad as it recovers VWAP. We'll see what happens on that one. RCAT still hanging on here. Still just off that bottoming. I'm looking for SMR to start coming back there. NNE kind of still on the pullback. TEM, decent push early in the day. Now pulled back.
SPY trying again to break the
Meta going green, high. Spot going green. That's a good push there.
Yeah.
Spotify, man, can't stop right now. I don't know how this company even does well. Who the hell pays for Spotify? I don't even know.
I'm an Apple Music guy, personally.
I don't know. I guys, do you guys know anybody that pays for Spotify? We have quite a few people here. There has to be somebody. Because I know it's advertising how they make a lot of their money, but man, tell you one thing. It makes Sirius XM seem so stupid. Whoever made Sirius XM.
We got one guy's son.
You did it wrong.
Right?
My son does. There you go.
One guy's and a wife.
We got a wife. We got a wife. My wife uses it, but she uses the free version. There's a free version, right? Like you don't need to use the paid version, right?
No. Big Apple Music guy. Just it's all built in. I can just yell at my house and it starts playing music.
You're part of the Apple sheep.
I am. I love it. I just yell at my house to play me music and it just does.
The only thing is don't yell at Siri. She might not know what the hell you're saying.
Yeah. No, it's Siri's dumb. They got
wrong. Beta. I'm starting to test the app on the phone. I don't know if you've seen that, Michael. They got a beta for the phone now and its own app.
Okay.
So of course, I have like the premium version. I know you have it too, so you can test it out, Michael, if you want to test it.
Yeah, no, I'll give it a shot. Last time I tested Gronk, it was stupid compared to...
It was trash, right?
It was awful, but they can upgrade it, so maybe
they upgraded it, right? And then you get access. We get access to the premium version, so a voice chat also on there too. So might try to see how it does.
The voice chat with the AI, again, I love. I'm all about multitasking, right? So you're mowing the lawn, you're doing something, you're walking the dogs,
and you're working, right? So I agree with you. I mean, that's where I think, like, let's say the wearables are really going to go to. That's why Apple has to buy an AI, right? Like, it has to get something that's quality. I think it goes for Perplexity. I think.
It has to do something
for it. It has to do it.
because you take I played with an Apple Vision. It was amazing, but then it's like this big stupid thing that sits on your head. So shrink it down, put it in my glasses, and slap an AI in there, and I am all in.
I think it's more about the applications, then the things will shrink, right?
Right.
Like computers, right? They were first really massive. Then we got some really cool operating systems, and then people wanted to push these smaller, right? So
Oh,
same thing happens here. I think the key, the games and the application, the experiences just need to be that damn good that we're like,
Mhm.
forget the consoles. When you start seeing the PS5s and the Xbox get dropped, that's the move. That's the one you want to be buying. Where those gamers are like, you know what? They finally made something that's going to get me away from these, right?
Yeah.
See what happens.
No, I agree. I could see myself like, with my son in the backyard, if you're fighting a dragon or something, right? It looks
Uber
like you're
lifting, guys. I like Uber here. I know a lot of people are hating Uber. I don't understand why. They just don't understand that this company is fundamentally changing and they feel that there's too much competitors in autonomous vehicles. Well, guys, Uber's going to get it right first. I just really think so. So this is a nice lift here from 9150 to 92. How do you feel about Uber autonomous driving? And do you think
oh,
that
I just
Uber
they
is going to
have
be a leader?
yeah, no, they've got the app, right? So like I don't when I because I don't use Uber at home. I use Uber when I travel. So I land in New York. I go to New York a handful of times a year. I pull up my phone, I hit the Uber. I don't care if it's a person that pulls up or an autonomous vehicle. I don't, right? So I think they can make a lot of money just by having the fact that that's the app that I'm going to reach to, right? So yeah, partnership with Waymo,
Yeah,
partnership with Tesla, it doesn't really matter. I just hit a button, I want a car to show up at the airport. That's,
agreed.
you know, um,
And I think that's the way to do it. And like, you know what I see, Michael, is that okay? So Tesla has the robo taxi, right? All that, right? But are you able to put your Tesla on their app right now to make money? No.
on Teslas, no. But if I could put it on Uber or something, I would do that,
Exactly. So
right?
this
Yeah.
is the move that happens, Michael. It's Uber telling you, "Hey, bring your vehicles. We want them to join our fleet."
Hmm.
Right? And so then that starts getting you to lift over and people start adding their fleet to Uber. I want to do this right now. I'm already looking at
Yeah.
the vehicles. I'm already thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because yeah, investments sound good when you go into real estate, but then you see the price tag, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know about all that price tag, right, Michael?
No.
So what about 20 or $30,000 potentially making me a return on my investment 10% a year, 9% a year, and then just eventually paying off that vehicle and buying another car to add to my own fleet?
Hmm.
Then I have a
Oh,
fleet of autonomous vehicles working for me when I'm sleeping, they're driving, and I also have now assets that I can go ahead and use to do what? Borrow against and get another vehicle.
there's going to be these little, and I think it's going to be better. It's going to depend where you are, but I think I've thought of the same thing because I'm nice and rural, and I don't think there'll be
Yeah.
that many guys out there that have these things.
Yeah, all you
Uh,
need to do is get a kind of like a level 2 charger or find some way to get a level 3 charger at near your home and you're
mhm.
set, Michael.
Oh yeah, I'm
What
getting a level 2 installed anyway. I think
yeah,
the only problem with EVs in Canada is I've been looking into them a lot because we need a new car. The cold really seems to zap the battery.
yeah. The cold. You're gonna have to find a way to make the garage a little heated, man. Just get a
Mm,
little heater in there.
yeah,
The smallest little heater to just keep it at like, let's say, reasonable amount. And then it'll be all right. It's when it sits cold, though. I agree. As someone that's been in Colorado and has dealt with people that have it, yeah, it definitely affects it.
yeah,
But when you have the level 2 charger at home, you're usually sitting at 100%, right? Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? And that's part of it, right? Like it's more when you're on the road and you're taking trips and stuff like that where it gets a little tough.
This PAYX is still just kind of consolidating here around View App, one that I'm looking at for a little
Take a
bit
look
later.
there. Put you up.
just again, the idea behind this one is it just destroyed yesterday, right? Gap down, sold all day. Just looking to see if it can kind of reclaim some of yesterday's range, 141, 142 area, and
CYN
but
holding on.
getting real tight here. And same with that CYN. Someone was asking
Nah, I
long or
wouldn't touch it.
short.
I wouldn't
It's
touch it now.
not doing anything anymore, right? And this could be one of those. Okay, it's made its big moves. Now it's time to just frustrate as many people as possible by just consolidating here. So I'd be careful. SPY is cleanly through for now anyway. That pre-market high, you can see all the fight that pre-market high put up. There was a big huge battle going on there. Now that that's cleared and it's holding for at least a few minutes, I think that's super bullish. So yeah, same with the Qs, not quite through its pre-market high. You can see underperformance today a little bit in the Qs, and that's because if you go to the heat map, you can see energy so well, or sorry, finance doing so well.
Someone in the chat saying level 2 chargers. I need a level 2 tape reading. That's what I'm not. I don't want the car. Hey, Big Me, definitely take a look into understanding more of the dark pool action and things like that, order flow. Look into it, right? Find traders that can show you the level 2 and show you time and sales, things like that. Another thing is start diving deeper into understanding the market depth and maybe getting that data from the actual exchange, right? Things like that can help you understand more of level 2.
Yeah, it's important, right? It's important to keep an eye on, and just understand all the games around it, right? Understand the nonsense that occurs because it is a game. It's like they are always trying to hide an order, right? It's you're trying to figure out whether the big guys are buying or selling. They're actively trying to make sure that you can't do it. So it's this game of cat and mouse. It's constantly evolving, right?
Yeah, like here, I'll give a perfect example. If you can turn to mine, I'll show you guys a little something here on Rigetti. So Rigetti is getting there's this big seller, this big 30,000 seller that just went through on the 32s. Unfortunately, we just watched them break that. And so with that big order that went through there on the offer side at the 32s, it was about 30,000 shares that went through there. What you want to see a lot of the times is, did it go through on the time and sales? That's where a lot of times you'll see an order that kind of showed up there and then disappeared. But look how there was this 10,000 share order that actually showed up there. So it could have been put into two orders. There's 10,000, 11,000 here, and then 10,000. You see how that all adds up? So right there, that was the sizing right there, the 31s and 32s getting filled. Now I'm looking to see, do we get a ramp up from that, right? So big action happened. Can we break that high? I can add and go for a bigger win, right? So a lot of times I'm doing also a filtering for more than 1,000 shares. I could care less if it's a 100 share order. I'm trying to catch these bigger orders in the time and sales so that I can see that happen and then use that off the tape. So, hey man, you wanted a little bit of some level 2 talk? Well, there you have it.
And I go the complete opposite from that, where soon I won't even be looking at charts, right?
CYN got hot. Probably going for another halt here.
Oh, if it gets through that, through today's high, which just broke through.
There it is.
Could be a halt
there. Look at the size here. Look at this. So this is a really good lesson. So what are they doing here? Right before the halt, they're literally throwing up size on the bid. They're throwing it there, and it was filling for a little bit. You could see shares just filling there. And so essentially, any pullback, I think the halt's happening. Fill me. I want size. So they're smacking it. Then it gets halted. What do they want to do? They want to unload those shares probably as soon as this opens, right? And so as soon as it opens, if it can open higher, I got some free cash essentially by taking the momentum, adding there. Then as soon as it opens up, if it can go higher through the open, they'll sell some of that, right? The algos do this all the time.
AST or ASTI probably. Yeah, ASTI is falling down here. Just broke.
Keep riding that wave, man.
Yeah, pretty solid support.
How's that doing today?
Not
This
too
stock has
much
been a
there, I don't think.
complete monster, man.
Oh, it's been crazy.
I've been looking to see if Lumen plays a little catch up. It's similar like space. So watch for this one, guys. I'll just put it in the background, right? Like something to like just throw in the back of the head and just like keep an eye on it. But you do what I do sometimes. I'll just set an alert. 466 is my alert. I'm just waiting for that to break one day, and I'll tell you guys about Lumen Technologies.
Those alerts are huge, right? It's there'll be a whole series up on our VOD thing soon by me about systematic trading and all of that. And alerts are the easiest way to get your kind of foot in the door when it comes to systematic trading. It just does a very good job of kind of teaching, the very basics of all of that.
All right, traders, what's going on out there, guys? Still no additional TikTok news. Yeah, that's what it's all about out there, right? Who's gonna buy TikTok? Trump's actually
Where's the
using
SPY
it
going
as
now?
leverage in the trade deal. Did you know that, Michael? He's using it as leverage in the trade
For
deal.
what, China?
Yeah, so
Oh,
pretty
sure.
much,
Yeah, why not?
yeah, you know what I mean? He's including that in the deal talks, right?
It's right. It's one of those things. Either a national security problem or it's not. Like, yeah, probably shouldn't have a whole lot to do with
national security
with
problem,
Dave.
man. What's up with Tesla? How'd
Programming.
that do? Ooh, it slowed down. Didn't keep going.
The Qs are
Coins
certainly not. I was
taking off.
watching them here. Qs are breaking a bit, trying to get finally to that pre-market high.
Got it.
So SPY is
Bull,
way
man.
through its pre-market high.
Bull looking good today, guys. That recovery of 11 looks great there on Bull. Let's go, Weeble. Off of that 11. Looks good, man. Looks good.
A little Bitcoin move here. A little Bitcoin participation.
All right.
Just
Bido.
Pop
I'm with
500.
this. I'm with this trade, man. I'm with it. I might take this shot.
Ethereum, slight move here as
2140.
well.
Yeah, let's do
Solana,
it.
slight move. So we're getting some crypto movement here.
All right, guys. Long Bido here on the swing trade side of things. Just took that 2149, 400 shares. Going to go ahead and risk down on Bido, back down towards 2139s. I'll do 2138s. Just give myself like 2 pennies off of that 2140. But essentially just going to let this run, trying to get this back towards the highs through 2170s. Really trying to get this to come back up towards 22 and above. 2238s could run into 2230s, could run into the trend line. That's what I would love to see, a big breakout to the trend line. And I'm selling that rip. We'll see what happens, guys. Yeah, Rando says now we're breaking out. So let's take a look there.
Qs are breaking their pre-market high. SPY continues to rocket. So SPY is now 3 points from all-time highs. That'd be kind of cool if that happened while we were on air here. Nice.
Yeah.
All-time high for those who celebrate.
Yeah, let's go for it, guys. And starting to see other trades set up there, right? RCAT was one of the names that I was looking at. I might take a shot there in RCAT as Rigetti starts getting into the green. Gives me the ability to take a little bit more buys here and see what happens, right? RCAT's not a bad military name with the drone action there. So I'm going to take a shot here off the 730s. I'll take a shot there, long RCAT a little bit there. Got a nice 1,000 shares there. Going to risk about $70 here. And let's see if this starts to get going here. Rigetti, I might add here as we start to get back above. Yeah, looking good for the ad here, at least to take the shot. So I'm going to take the shot. We'll see what happens if we really start to get going in Rigetti. Taking some shots now, guys. As we get the market to kind of jump in, I'll jump in. Let's take some shots. Let's see what happens.
I'm just looking around here. So like RSP, which is our equal weight, is moving good as well. So that shows, right? Like we know, it's not just big cap tech. We even have IWM over 1%. Even the worst of the worst is moving really well here. So a nice push off of 2-day view app there, trying to get through yesterday's high. IWM didn't move nearly as much yesterday. The Dow is moving. Looking at just some sectors that are doing well, we have home builders doing great. UFO, that ETF is up a bunch as well.
UFO, Remember when the UFO thing was getting hot?
Yes. Yeah, a lot.
Everyone was seeing aliens. What happened?
They went into hiding or something. I don't know. Aerospace and defense. Ooh, XAR is
BYN back down a
breaking
little
out.
bit there. We'll see what happens, guys. That's a tough one.
Yeah, we're getting a big move in the defense sector today. 2.3% in defense, moving higher.
Let's go RCAT.
Oil services, we have ARC up 1.5%.
Palantir dropping fast there. CEG recovering there. So SMR, not a bad one I'm thinking about. If we really can keep ripping higher, I'd like SMR recovery here through the 3850s. I've been trying to be patient all day on this. Trying my best to be patient, right? Because look at the daily. It's right there. They swing this back through 40s and then this looks bullish. So I think I'm just trying to be patient here and trying to see a recovery off this 15 minutes, see if it starts going back through 39. Then I could take a bigger bet, 39 off 38, looking for a move back through like 42. We'll see what happens. SMR. Ion Q, can that keep going? We'll look for that to keep going till 42. I've talked about this leader laggard style. That's what I'm trading in Rigetti. Also seeing some other kind of quantum names. I can take a look to see how those are moving. QUBT starting to get back above the VWAP. So things that I'm liking to see, right? If those can get back above the VWAP, we could get that run in these names. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, SPY is cooling a little bit here.
Not really trying to move.
The Qs are cooling a little bit too, right? Broke through, pulled back. I think, and we'll see. I think this is just kind of a break through the pre-market high and then test to see if they can hold as support there. Yeah, but if it can hold, then we're just going to continue to make new highs, and now we just got to wait for the SPY. Again, do the same. I have that alert set right at that. I think it's 1 cent higher. So we've got another 3 points to go here on the SPY, which isn't nothing. It isn't a lot. So we are
isn't nothing.
0.5. So we need to move 0.5% now to all-time highs.
All right, guys, starting to get in the green there on the swing on the BITO. So that's kind of what I wanted to see. Really quick reaction to the upside. So now I want to see it start to break, like really push on BITO. Let's get to 2170 fast.
So it's moving, right? Bitcoin.
Yeah, starting to move. So I'm riding it. I'm riding it, right? I talked about this early on in the day, right? How at some point I expect Bitcoin to make the move with it. Well, we're getting it.
Yeah, you want to see that happen, and sometimes it takes sometimes it's the leader, sometimes the laggard, but you just want to see some participation.
Move in and out, right? You want to see it kind of drag too, and you want to see the VIX really melt today.
Yeah.
If you really want this to kind of get moving, you need that VXX to kind of crush these 48s here.
VIX, where are we at the actual
VXX level?
I just like to look at the actual number so I can tell, because that level of the VIX is kind of important. So yeah, we're 16. So it's like,
as you get lower and lower, I think it also shows times that we could see the turnaround, right? And so I think this is the time where they can crush it, and then they can we'll start to get a little bit more concerned on turnarounds.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, they've been crushing it, right? I mean, if you think about it, look at the last like weeks, right? I mean, look how that's been.
It's bleeding there, right? And that's generally what it means that people are just not getting too scared. Now 16 VIX is still higher than average. So generally speaking, what a lot of people will look at is say, sub 15, 14, that might be complacency or whatever you'd like to call it. And then, above, right, at 50s, that things are getting a little bit too stretched and it's probably time to start buying. It's like there's a lot of people will just do simply just that and just say, I am going to do absolutely nothing but When I see the VIX, I'm going to at 50s. That's when I'm really going to start plowing money in. So
A lot of back and forth right now, guys. Not really getting the breakouts that I expected with the looks that we have. So that's a sign to just be a little patient, right? So I'm just trying to be patient here as long as we can continue. We're stair stepping, but it's slow.
yeah. Yeah, moving. So all these things are looking, all these different sectors are looking good, from small caps to mid caps to micro caps. Everything looks like it's pushing up quite a bit here.
These are the times where I think the bigger time frames are the charts that can keep you patient, right? If you're in a 1 minute, you're watching way too many candles and you're freaking out here. If you're in a 15-minute or further back time frame, you are able to sit back, relax, and let time do the work and let the market do the heavy lifting, right? So just waiting sometimes. And sometimes if you notice yourself getting too antsy, just move back one time frame, right? Whatever that may be. Whatever that may be. If you use the 5, maybe you're going to the 10. Doesn't really matter. But as you go further back, you'll be more patient and less antsy on every tick.
Yeah, and ever since we broke, we've just been basing here, which I think is overall bullish, right? We want to see these breaks, and then we want to see these breaks just hang out, just chill out for a little bit, right? And then continuations higher. So these are 2-minute candles, so right, 15 minutes or so of just kind of sideways action, and then we need to get these continuations higher. I'm just trying to look for sectors that aren't up. There's not many, right? TLT, but that kind of makes sense. WGMI is still down. So just to show and those are the Bitcoin miners are still down today, even though Bitcoin is up just a little bit here.
Yeah, they've been running the last couple of days. So
yeah, real
it's
estate.
a bad one to see them.
Simon.
I would watch MSTR as more of the maybe going with Bitcoin today, right? Why? Because it's had a longer pullback, right? And people have been waiting for this thing to make the move. Daily chart looks like it's trying to get back to 400. There's a gap right here that it could go for. It's between like 392 up there towards like 398. So interesting to see MSTR. What you got? WGMI?
Yeah, this is just an aggregate of the Bitcoin miners. So I just wanted to show this versus MSTR, right? And MSTR is just holding way higher and nicer. So just showing that people are much more interested in buying this particular idea is to, you want to buy, generally speaking, strength. And I just don't see nearly as much of it there in just these minor spaces as anything like that. Someone talking about MU went crazy yesterday. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, stop set there in RCAT as Rigetti goes into green there for me. So at this point, I'm going to just stick with more of that Rigetti trade as it starts to break to the upside. Set the stop. Look for this to keep working. We'll see what happens on Rigetti if it can really make the break. I think a big part of this will be IonQ if it can keep going, right? If just the leader can keep the party going today, we'll see what happens. You see how this has been hanging out on the 15-minute, but the top end of the Bollinger Band, right? It's just hanging out, barely pulling back. Definitely getting reloads at like whole dollar spots and right around this underneath 41, getting a lot of reloads. Looking for the takeout of 42 to really kind of drive the rest of the industry higher. And you can see it on QUBT, how you're setting up there. You can see it on QBTS, how you're setting up there. There's a leader today, and the algos are following it.
Yep. And we can't sleep too much on XLF, which has actually been
nice,
kind
nice,
of
a nice area to look at, right? And you can also trade this with FAS, right? The leverage name, right? And it's a good area to look at right now. Gap up and not coming back. You know how you like some of these where it doesn't want to even come back.
Yep.
Not a bad name to keep an eye out for, guys. Q's starting to pull back a little bit here, guys. We might have a little VWAP. It's just been a little bit slow today. And so Don't forget that, guys. That we could have a little bit of some chop, a little bit of chop.
Well, yeah, we've made the move, right? We've made ground towards all-time highs, and we talked about in the pre-market, and I think we'll continue to be talking about for a number of days, weeks. Is I don't think these all-time highs are going to be clean, and I think it's going to be a bit of a back and forth action just to make sure that these it's again like we talked about. If the level is so big that everyone in the world is watching it, they're just not going to make it easy on you. It's just not the way the market works. So I wouldn't be surprised to see, us approaching all-time highs and then failing from all-time highs and then getting closer to right, that kind of thing. I showed the last two major bear markets, and that's what happens. And if you go back again, there's been 5 bear markets in like the last 5 years, so you can look at them. You don't have to go far back in history to see them. Generally speaking, a new all-time high after a bear market isn't the easiest thing in the world to trade. Because again, I think everyone and their dog's watching it.
CYN trying to get back up there, just came out of a down halt and then a recent up halt. So I think it's fighting right now to either break down or just continue to drive. So trade setups are there if you're looking for it. I'm looking for a break of 2050 to risk on 2150s on the short. It would be a swing trade, and I wouldn't go big size. So I would just try to really catch the complete collapse of this name if I'm doing that.
Yeah, it's looking here at MDY, which is our mid caps. That's actually looking really way far from all-time high, same as the small caps, but that's looking very interesting here with a nice little breakout, just showing that we're getting this kind of broad market participation, not just a few names. If we go into this again, XLF, we talked about, what do we have? BX, Blackstone's up 2%. A lot of these names are up 2-3%. Citigroup up 2%.
City.
Wow. That's actually an okay. I don't know when I would ever say this. An okay looking chart here on Citigroup. Look at all the resistance up here around 85. The reason I say that, for those who don't know, if you go back, this is 2008 with Citigroup, from $500 down to $8 in pretty much a straight line. So it's never recovered from the great financial collapse. And now I don't know, maybe it's looking like it's gonna break out of this zone, give you a nice little gain there, a couple percent for those who want
I can't buy this company.
Stocks.
It's one of those where I just think it should go bankrupt.
Well, how much money are they making? We could see. Oh, they're making money, paying a dividend.
Yeah.
Right? So as long as they're making money, paying a dividend, so, yeah, their MBS issues were intense. They almost went, 20 years ago, they almost went under. They were able to barely survive. And then
they got held up. They got held up, man. They would have been on that delete button.
Oh yeah, them and a lot of other ones.
Yeah,
them and the whole country if they had let it.
Yeah, and what I get upset about is they're probably one of the key reasons why we got there. But I ain't gonna get into all that. They were part of that push. They were part of that that allowing things to kind of get out of proportion.
It was an interesting time because it's like, who do you blame, right? Do you blame the government that allowed the businesses to leverage up 5-1? Do you blame the businesses that leverage up 20-1?
Businesses, man. You blame the businesses.
Do you blame the customers who were making $30,000 a year buying $1 million house?
I mean, we're in capitalism, so at the end of the day, you kind of have to give some kind of open regulation there. It's up to the businesses to abide by what they think is ethical.
That's kind of anti the capitalism, isn't it? Isn't it they should do whatever they can to make the most amount of money inside the rules that are laid out for them?
That's
another way to look at it.
That's the thing, though. That's the thing. Is it just money over everything?
In capitalism, yeah, that's the whole point of government and capitalism, right? Is to try to put guardrails because they're supposed to try to get as much as they possibly can within the law. There's a lot of actual, like, you can put CEOs in jail if they're not getting as much money as they can for shareholders inside the law. So it's like, I don't know. I kind of evenly like to disperse the risk across from the personal. You got to give the personal risk. The guy making 30K a year saying I'm going to buy $1 million house because housing values always go up. It's like at some point, there's a bit of an educational failing happening there.
Oh, for sure.
And yeah, then it's the government to say, hey, you can't leverage your holdings up 50-1. That's not allowed. And as soon as they changed the laws, all of a sudden banks didn't,
All right,
didn't go from there.
Markets are holding on here. They're holding. This is going to be interesting, guys. This last 10 minutes is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, it's a nice looking, if you just look at it purely technically, that's a nice looking little bull flag there on the SPY. Maybe that bull flag takes us to those highs, right? We're up from the lows of the day about what, 0.4%? It's got to move another 0.4% from there, and then we're at all-time highs.
Rando, I think I was agreeing with you, but maybe I just said it wrong. But I'm with that, right? Like, don't get the homeless guy $1 million house. Just, you shouldn't have got $1 million house, right? Like, it's just simply what it should be, right? I mean, it's your job as a lender to vet, right? And if you don't vet,
the question of whether that's the bank's problem or whether that's the regulatory problem. I just know when the regulations changed, that stuff just stopped happening, right? So that's the best way to do it, is make it so they can go to jail if they end up doing stuff like that. Plus, there's also, I don't know about you, when I bought a house, there was always a lawyer involved. Who the hell was that lawyer that was like, yeah, this looks fine? There's nothing wrong with that.
He took his 2,500, man, and moved on.
Like, man, I remember signing stacks upon stacks of paperwork and sitting with this guy for hours. Like, hey, tell me if I'm doing something stupid here.
QuantumScape ripping, guys. QS. Remember I talked about this one yesterday. That's rip. That's having a good day there, guys.
Yeah. It's a nice
good day indeed.
Nice solid day, nice solid trend. And let's see if the Qs can catch up here. Yeah, it really underperforms the Qs. And again, a lot of it's just because finance, right? JP Morgan, another new all-time high today. Right, we're really getting led by financials here off the jump, right? Goldman Sachs up 2%, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, you name it. If it's in the banking sector, it's up. Coinbase is going to be another big part of it. It's not a huge market cap weighting. It's not as big as a lot of these other companies, but it's up quite a bit. So that's pulling us up there as well. Equifax, it's the only one that's down that I see here. So yeah, this very much being led. And JP Morgan, again, congratulations, Mr. Jamie Dimon. More Mr. billions Jamie for Dimon. You got, you let us out. And you're right. If
but he kept saying negative things throughout.
Well, thank God he didn't. He doesn't run his business based what he says on news.
Bullish guy I know.
That's why I think we're gonna move higher. As everyone was talking,
bearish and bullish at the same time.
They're still positioned short, and they got to get out. And maybe that's why he was talking so much smack, right? He's got some short positions he's trying to get out of.
CYM going crazy a little bit there. It's pushing. It's trying to get a new high. It's 23.50. New high there, 24.50s, but ran right into some selling. Now trying to reload. We'll see what happens on CYN. Coin catching a little bit of a bid there. AEVA right back to the highs. Looks like we're having some names starting to push here. So looks good out there. We'll see what happens towards the 11 time. But yeah, starting to get some recollecting stocks. Tesla right on the VWAP. Interesting name. If the Qs continue to climb higher, we'll see what happens on that.
Yeah, nice base consolidation, right? Bull flag, whatever you want to call it, right here. Could that bull flag propel us to those highs again? Especially because we're getting such dramatic outperformance here on finance, and still doing pretty well on healthcare as well. Healthcare has been good. This Lilly. I know Tack mentioned this earlier, but it's still in this name from around this zone. It's a little bit of pullback last couple of days. Now it looks like it might be recovering, pushing back up here. Bitcoin stopped being really cool. Was really cool there for a second, but It's just, again, with the SPY just hanging out here. So we need to see that, I think, stick the landing in order to have a nice healthy push up here.
Yeah, it's getting boring for me.
And
So
when
I'm in
when
this.
Bitcoin's boring you, right? You know something's going on when Bitcoin's being boring.
Yeah, I'm in this and I'm on the swing trade, right? And I have a good size, but since it's not really ripping, I'm just gonna leave it break even here. There's just no point. Like I'm just gonna it's going in my direction. If it keeps going, I'll ride the wave. If not, just take out because right now the biggest thing is I don't want to get caught on a big swing overnight. Um, I'm using this swing trade account trying to gain the funded, right? Then I can worry a little bit more about overnight swings there. Um, Not doing bad. Got about a little bit over 30% of the account done, closer to 40, and I'm trying to get there to maybe 50 by the end of the week, and then just keep working that, right? Focus on the goals first of the evals, then I'll focus on making money. I think that sometimes we have a tendency of focusing on making money, but we don't realize that, especially when you're in the evals, your goal is the money that you're trying to obtain, right? So
Mhm.
focus on the percentages of that goal. If you can get 20% of that goal in one day, pat on the back, let's keep moving.
Yeah, and it's the important to note that the whole point of the eval process is to prove consistency, right? So that's what you're trying to. That's why it's more important there than anywhere else. That you're taking your money, right? You're taking your profits. You're taking your profits, um, and then after you've proven that consistency and you've got the account, then you can go and do uh, a little more swings, things like that.
Yeah, as soon as I put my stop out there on Bido, it starts going down. We'll see what happens if I get stopped out on Bido. It's starting to pull back there. I think it could go for a reload in the 2148s, but I'll probably just get out. Just gonna ride this wave, the wave that I'm in riding since the morning. I'm in the green, but no breakouts. I need breakouts to really cash today. Let's see what happens here.
Yeah, I'm surprised too, right? The correlation with the Qs and Bitcoin, but
Yeah,
generally
both
speaking, really
slow down.
strong. But they've been breaking little bits here and there. So we need to, have that thing at least start to come back. We've got Solana and Ethereum both not moving, like down on the day, and I really love this Solana chart.
Yeah, just gonna be patient. I think if I get rips here, instead of selling the rip, I'm just gonna put probably like a stop and then just let it ride type of day, right? Because we never know when all of a sudden the buying programs get put back on here in the
Mhm.
lunchtime, and we look back and we see a huge blow off top type of candle. That's what I'm thinking. At some point, we get into where it's just a day where even bulls are like, man, this is starting to get a little bit like I might have to take some profit into this move. I'm waiting for that move. I'm waiting for that move, and then I'll start being a little bit more bearish. But we haven't gotten that yet.
Well, and it would make sense to have that happen, when the market is the most
Bear
head,
capitulation,
right?
essentially, right?
Yeah, and it will be, so it would make sense to do it during like a lunch hour and where no one's really paying attention. The bears
Yep.
come in, they're down a crap ton of money, and it's just this unrelenting jog
Bid.
higher.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it certainly could be the way it goes.
We'll see what happens, guys. At least into the green again here, bouncing back. Of course, I took an earlier hit there in the pre-market on CYN. So we'll see if we can go ahead and kind of get into some decent green. I'm like right before that right now. But at least RCAT looking good there. We'll see what happens, guys. I'm going to start wrapping it up here. We'll look to RCAT, see if I can break it back through that 758, really get this going. This could get to 8 today at some point. So I'm just going to let
Mhm.
it ride. I have a crap ton of size right on the VWAP, looking for it just to work, right? Continued laddering. All right, we'll see what happens on that one. Rigetti also, you can see how it's back above VWAP, just looking for VWAP to hold here. If not, I can just get out and just keep it playing. We'll see
Yeah.
what happens on Ion Q. Can it keep going? Can the quantum names push today? Coin still holding up at the top. AEVA is in the auto parts area. That's actually helping QuantumScape get picked up which is both of them are just ripping. And we'll look for those to continue making moves. Grail, the Holy Grail, continuing to go up. We'll see if it gets to the 80s. And different names out there making moves today. Bull is still one I like that broke 11, held it all day. We'll see if Tesla gets into the green here. I like it. I'm just not going to go for it because I got too many plays out there, right? But I like this Tesla here, recovery of it starting to come back up. Nothing has come out about the robotaxis getting, like, let's say, taken off, right? And as long as that doesn't come out, I think this could come back up. A lot of people are betting on Tesla that news is going to come out. Remember, it's very binary. If that news doesn't come out, well, then Tesla has a robotaxi out there now. And I think that you're going to see that maybe be the driver here. And my thing is, it's hard to bet on technology to the downside here. That's just what I'll say. It's hard to bet on technology to the downside here.
We're all-time highs on the Qs, right? It's really hard.
Yeah, it's not really necessarily the time to be bearish technology, right?
Exactly.
Overall, just like in a huge basket, right? We'll see what happens. Steph, have a good one. Hope you enjoyed the day. Hope you learned a little bit. Tack, like always, and everyone out there, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us, having some conversations, different things. We always bring different things in here just to kind of fill in the space. Also, talk some finance. You guys always have a topic you guys want to bring up. Hey, bring it up. We got you guys, right? All right, we'll keep battling out there in the markets. I hope that you guys enjoyed the action today. That's going to do it for us here on Trade the Pool. We'll be back on Monday. Like always, you guys are going to catch me on Friday. I'm over there on STN, the Stock Market Network. Don't miss that, guys. That's the pre-market prep team. I'll be throwing up some link on my tag so that you guys can join up with that on Friday if you're looking for it. The Discord never closes, so go over to the Discord side of things, go trade there. Michael Noss is on a couple of different shows on Fridays, so definitely catch my man in his appearances. Catch us out. We'll be out there, of course, representing Trade the Pool, looking for different ways to keep growing. Of course, reach out to Michael if you want to learn a little bit more about systematic trading. We'll keep pushing the levels right here on Trade the Pool. Hope you guys had a great week with us. Top trade of the week for me would be SMR. What's maybe your top trade, Michael?
God, I can't remember right now.
Right,
Most
no
of my
worries.
trades are all tiny, but yeah, that have to go
they're all that good. That's the reason why.
Yeah, I wish.
Don't we all? We'll see you guys back on Monday. Stay safe out there and be careful in the markets. Of course, end of the month coming. Contracts coming to close. Be careful. See what happens.